Ryoji discovered a massive dungeon and its structure matched dungeons from another world. After seeing the entrance, Ryoji remembered encountering the same dungeon before and sensed serious trouble approaching. 2 weeks earlier, Ryoji had fallen into a mysterious hole and arrived in another world. The kingdom summoned Ryoji as a hero and requested his help against the Demon King. Concerned about his upcoming entrance examinations, Ryoji refused the request and wanted to return home. Princess Daenerys agreed to return Ryoji home, but the kingdom needed enormous magical resources. After hearing the requirement, Ryoji learned gathering enough magic stones could take nearly 50 years. Daenerys suggested defeating the Demon Lord first, since a massive magic stone could shorten the process. Wanting to return home, Ryoji accepted the challenge and began fighting powerful monsters across kingdoms. Months later, Ryoji defeated a gigantic monster and realized constant battles were making him far stronger. After defeating another monster, Ryoji practiced healing magic and recovered his injuries. Daenerys praised Ryoji's progress, while he explained his growth came from careful battles and constant effort. As their journey continued, Ryoji asked whether Daenerys felt safe staying alone inside the castle. Daenerys dismissed his concern, reminding Ryoji that her strength surpassed most enemies threatening the kingdom. Hearing her response, Ryoji felt she enjoyed teasing him, though she continued supporting his training. 1 year later, Ryoji defeated the first dungeon's final boss and celebrated completing a difficult conquest. While reviewing his progress, Ryoji explained that learning magic would help him clear future dungeons. Daenerys reminded Ryoji that his mana would run out despite his impressive growth and achievements. She urged Ryoji to learn potion making instead of relying only on healing. 6 months later, Ryoji cleared a second dungeon and mastered potion making. When Ryoji mentioned defeating the Demon King, Daenerys revealed many dangerous dungeons still remained unexplored. Daenerys explained the Demon King far exceeded ordinary dungeon bosses, making additional training absolutely necessary. Determined to grow stronger, Ryoji planned independent adventures, but Daenerys questioned whether he could survive alone. Since mana potions could not restore magical energy, Daenerys decided to continue accompanying Ryoji everywhere. 5 years later, Ryoji and Daenerys battled another powerful dungeon monster when a sudden danger appeared. Ryoji arrived just in time, saving Daenerys from danger and preventing the fierce monster from causing serious harm. After the battle, Daenerys estimated they had cleared half the dungeons and approached the Demon King, believing his abilities had matured. Ryoji suggested continuing alone and asked Daenerys to return. Daenerys rejected the suggestion, showing her frustration after hearing Ryoji's unexpected request. Ryoji thanked Daenerys for supporting him throughout the journey, leaving her pleased by his words. Knowing nobody else could defeat the Demon King, Ryoji accepted the mission and promised to try. Daenerys promised to wait at the castle while Ryoji continued his dangerous journey. 10 years later, Ryoji defeated the Demon Lord and received gratitude from the entire kingdom. The king offered Ryoji a future beside Daenerys, hoping he would remain and inherit the throne. Despite Daenerys' feelings, Ryoji chose returning home to his family, leaving her heartbroken after their farewell. Using the completed teleportation ritual, Daenerys activated the magic circle and prepared Ryoji's long-awaited return. Ryoji thanked Daenerys for everything before disappearing from the kingdom forever. Moments later, Ryoji returned to modern Japan and walked through familiar streets from his former life. While adjusting to his return, Ryoji encountered Mitsuhashi Kyoko, his childhood friend from school. Kyoko noticed Ryoji looked unchanged despite years passing and questioned why he was still attending school. After meeting Kyoko, Ryoji checked his reflection and discovered 10 years had not passed in Japan. Realizing the truth, Ryoji understood Daenerys had returned both his age and original timeline. Ryoji finally returned home and reunited with his family after years spent in another world. When Ryoji mentioned his experiences, his mother assumed he was describing an unusual dream instead. Alone at home, Ryoji reflected on his journey while his parents continued their normal day. Back in Japan, Ryoji enjoyed ordinary comforts again, and appreciated the peaceful life he had missed. While shopping, Ryoji felt grateful for his return and believed his hardships were finally over. His relief vanished when Kyoko rushed over and revealed something terrible had happened to his parents. At the hospital, Ryoji learned a truck had struck their car and both died. Staring at the wrecked vehicle, Ryoji struggled to accept reality after returning from another world. During the funeral, Ryoji questioned whether his parents' deaths were coincidence or the cost of victory. After the ceremony ended, Kyoko helped arrange the urn while staying beside Ryoji during his grief. As they prepared to leave, someone arrived and interrupted the quiet atmosphere inside. Standing before his parents' photographs, Ryoji reflected on everything he sacrificed to return home, An angry relative confronted Ryoji, insisting family matters no longer concerned an outsider like him. After the funeral, several relatives appeared and demanded money from Ryoji's family inheritance. Ryoji learned his relatives intended to seize the insurance payout, claiming legal authority over everything. The group threatened police involvement and juvenile detention, unless Ryoji surrendered the inheritance without resistance. Ignoring Ryoji's grief, the relatives began claiming valuable belongings and discussing how they would divide them. Surrounded by greedy demands, Ryoji watched as relatives pressured him for money and property. Ryoji realized nobody intended respecting his parents' wishes or protecting him. Refusing to surrender anything, Ryoji declared he would keep every possession his parents left behind. The relatives mocked Ryoji, boasting about their influence while dismissing him as insignificant. Unimpressed by their threats, Ryoji criticized their behavior and questioned how grown adults acted this way. Enraged by his defiance, the relatives ordered several men to intimidate Ryoji and force compliance. Several men rushed forward to attack Ryoji, expecting an easy victory against a grieving teenager. Before anyone understood what happened, the attackers froze after witnessing Ryoji's overwhelming presence. Comparing them to weak dungeon monsters, Ryoji dismissed their threats and remained completely unimpressed. The men demanded Ryoji stand still, believing numbers alone would overwhelm him through brute force. Ignoring their warnings, the attackers charged together while the relatives watched confidently from behind. The relatives panicked after hearing painful screams, but Ryoji remained calm and completely unharmed afterward. While the attackers clutched their injured hands, Ryoji approached them without showing any concern. Using hypnosis magic, Ryoji immobilized everyone present and forced them to answer his questions. Honestly, Ryoji questioned his uncle's behavior, suspecting the family had repeated similar schemes many times before. Under the spell's influence, the uncle proudly admitted, exploiting vulnerable people to obtain their assets, keeping everyone under hypnosis. Ryoji decided his greedy relatives would repay their wrongdoing themselves. Reflecting on the spell, Ryoji remembered hypnosis had little use against strong enemies, but worked perfectly here. Under the spell's influence, the relatives returned condolence, money and surrendered assets they had taken. After recovering everything, Ryoji dismissed the relatives and thanked them sarcastically for their valuable lesson. Following Ryoji's orders, the relatives withdrew loans and returned all remaining money before leaving. After reclaiming his belongings, Ryoji knelt before his parents' ashes and reflected on recent events. Ryoji wondered whether his actions were justified and imagined how different everything might have been. Overcome by loneliness and grief, Ryoji finally cried for the first time since returning. Several weeks later, Kyoko approached Ryoji at school and asked whether he had seen recent news. Surprised by her report, Ryoji learned mysterious dungeons had begun appearing across the world again. While discussing the situation, Kyoko explained that every military force entering dungeons had failed completely. Experts warned civilization could collapse as resources disappeared worldwide, leaving humanity facing an uncertain future. Ryoji learned political disputes were delaying action, even as governments struggled to address the growing crisis. Comparing recent events, Ryoji suspected the resource shortages and dungeon appearances were connected somehow. Determined to uncover the truth, Ryoji decided to investigate the mysterious dungeon personally instead. Using invisibility magic, Ryoji slipped past security and entered the mysterious dungeon without being detected. Inside, Ryoji confirmed the structure matched a dungeon from his previous world and hurried deeper. Recognizing familiar monsters and floors, Ryoji realized this dungeon had already been conquered before. After reviewing the dungeon's layout, Ryoji remembered important details and considered their potential value. Seeing monsters still produced magic stones and ores, Ryoji discovered a possible solution to humanity's resource crisis. Ryoji concluded modern weapons were ineffective because dungeons followed rules originating from his previous world. Remembering the past, Ryoji recalled adventurers gathering resources from dungeons and supporting entire civilizations. Believing others might awaken special abilities, Ryoji stored valuable materials and hoped new adventurers would emerge. After leaving the dungeon, Ryoji prepared to return home, unaware another strange change awaited him. Examining his hand, Ryoji discovered a mysterious level indicator and questioned what the number represented. Ryoji Furuya exited the dungeon and noticed a strange glow spreading across his open hand. As he inspected his palm, Ryoji discovered a mysterious level, the first of March K that never existed before. Remembering his magic, Ryoji cast a dispel spell, but the glowing mark showed no change. After hearing nearby officers discussing an unusual sound, Ryoji quickly activated invisibility to avoid. While hidden, Ryoji watched the officers leave the area and appreciated the usefulness of his magic. Ryoji listened as people worried about new dungeon appearances, wondering how these changes would affect society. After leaving, Ryoji remembered a teleportation spell and chose a faster route home. Using teleportation magic, Ryoji instantly arrived inside his house and realized he had returned, remembering he forgot lunch earlier. Ryoji considered going outside again, but lost motivation almost immediately. Later, Ryoji enjoyed a delicious meal after receiving food, feeling relieved that he no needed to leave. Kyoko shared a homemade meal with Ryoji, who enjoyed every dish and praised her cooking skills. Ryoji pointed out that some ingredients were store-bought, making Kyoko feel annoyed. Wanting to spend more time together, Kyoko suggested playing games, but Ryoji remained focused elsewhere, remembering the strange mark. Ryoji showed his palm and asked whether Kyoko could see it. Kyoko examined her hands but found nothing, confirming that only Ryoji possessed the mysterious mark. After hearing Ryoji's explanation, Kyoko became unusually flustered and struggled to hide her growing embarrassment. Kyoko left for home, while Ryoji quietly reflected on her strange reaction. Studying the mark again, Ryoji suspected the display was somehow connected to dungeon exploration. Unable to understand the mark's meaning, Ryoji decided to rest and investigate another dungeon tomorrow. The following day, police officers entered a dungeon, relying on shields because modern weapons proved ineffective. A police officer entered the dungeon, believing their large team could handle any threat. Without warning, a giant slime dropped from above and trapped one officer inside its body. The squad surrounded the monster, striking from every direction while avoiding its dangerous attacks. The slime's movement slowed considerably, giving the officers a chance to finish it. The officers destroyed the slime's core, defeated the monster, and began collecting valuable dungeon materials. After the battle ended, the officers confirmed Officer Satu died when the slime crushed him. The team withdrew from the dungeon, while their captain reviewed the collected magic stones. Back at headquarters, another officer reported a mysterious level display that had appeared on his palm. Believing the incident caused severe stress, the captain removed him from duty and ordered rest. Before leaving the office, the officer revealed his hand, displayed level 2 priest, shocking everyone. The officer revealed his status screen, showing level 3 warrior, proving the mysterious displays were real. On the way to school, Kyoko greeted Ryoji and brought up his unusual hand mark. Kyoko explained that adventurer levels and jobs sometimes appeared on dungeon explorers, according to recent reports. Realizing the mark represented an adventurer status, Ryoji wondered why his job information remained hidden. As they arrived at school, Kyoko talked about adventurers' popularity, while Ryoji considered his situation. When Ryoji entered the classroom, he noticed unusual excitement as students gathered around someone. The students crowded around Yokoyama, who had awakened adventurer traits and quickly became the center of attention. After hearing the discussion, Ryoji learned Yokoyama possessed adventurer abilities that impressed many classmates. Yokoyama expressed interest in entering a dungeon, but school regulations prevented students from participating. Soon, someone from the police department requested a meeting with Yokoyama, surprising the entire class. While class began normally, Yokoyama left with police officers, and Ryoji activated a listening spell. Using clairvoyance from the restroom, Ryoji observed the meeting without anyone noticing his actions. The officer explained that adventurer traits appeared worldwide, then asked Yokoyama about his level and job. Yokoyama revealed he was a level 6 thief, earning praise because few adventurers had reached. The officer showed Yokoyama an item called a scouter and asked whether he recognized it. The officer explained that status displays remained private, but rare scouters could reveal another person's level. Hearing about the device, Ryoji became interested and wished he could obtain a scouter. Yokoyama admitted he never entered a dungeon and possessed no adventurer trait. The officer advised Yokoyama to contact authorities if his trait awakened later, listening from afar. Ryoji realized status displays could be faked since only owners could see them. Ryoji learned that people without adventurer traits faced strict restrictions, making dungeon entry difficult and heavily regulated. Near the entrance, Kunimi and his friend discussed the rules while preparing to challenge the dungeon. After submitting the required documents, Kunimi received official permission and gained access to the dungeon. Inside, Kunimi checked his hand for a status display, but discovered no adventurer trait appeared. Kunimi encouraged his friend and relied on adventurer guide videos for preparation. Following the walkthrough guide, Kunimi and his friend explored the dungeon while discussing adventurer-created notes. When the layout differed from the guide, Kunimi felt uneasy but continued forward without alarming his friend. A slime appeared ahead, forcing both boys to abandon their original exploration plans. Kunimi led the retreat and attempted to lure the pursuing slime into a narrow dead-end passage. Their situation worsened when another slime appeared deeper inside, revealing the walkthrough information was outdated. Far from the dungeon, a creator celebrated massive view counts as his fake walkthrough video spread, discussing the unexpected success. He learned many viewers were unemployed, workers searching for new opportunities. Meanwhile, trapped inside the dungeon, Kunimi realized facing two slimes at once exceeded his expectations. Determined to protect his friend, Kunimi ordered him to escape while he distracted the approaching monsters. Gathering his courage, Kunimi charged forward and struck a slime with all his remaining strength. Cornered by the slimes, Kunimi grabbed a broken object as a weapon and prepared for a fight. Before he could escape, a slime struck his leg, leaving him injured and fearing death. Seeing Kunimi, his friend charged forward and attacked the slime despite overwhelming fear. Ignoring Kunimi's pleas to flee, the older man stood his ground and continued protecting him. Thinking about his family, he refused to abandon Kunimi and fought to keep him alive. As the slime closed in, Kunimi watched while his friend became trapped during the struggle, facing possible death. Kunimi remembered meeting the president years earlier when he lacked direction and support. Back then, many people doubted him because of his past. But the president treated him fairly. The president's kindness convinced Kunimi that people deserved second chances, changing the course of his life. Remembering that moment, Kunimi recalled rejecting criminal opportunities and choosing an honest path instead. Years earlier, Kunimi rejected a criminal group's demands and insisted on leaving his troubled past behind. The confrontation turned violent when the criminals attacked him after he refused to cooperate with them. During the struggle, a truck caught fire, leaving Kunimi injured and ending his former life. While recovering in the hospital, Kunimi worried about the losses, but the president visited him. The president valued Kunimi's life above money, convincing him that genuine kindness still existed. Believing death was near, Kunimi regretted his mistakes and prayed for the president's survival. Through tears, Kunimi begged for a miracle, hoping someone could save the man who changed his life. At that critical moment, a powerful force blasted the slimes away and shocked everyone. Ryoji arrived wearing a mask, relieved he reached the scene before the situation became irreversible. Using healing magic, Ryoji treated their injuries and assured Kunimi that both victims would survive. After confirming the president's condition, Ryoji dismissed the praise and claimed his arrival was coincidence. When Kunimi asked for his name, Ryoji refused and chose to keep his identity secret. Before leaving, Ryoji explained the dungeon's slime mechanics and shared advice for handling future encounters. Watching the masked stranger depart, Kunimi wondered who possessed power far beyond trained adventurers. Ryoji learned that scouters were rare monster drops capable of revealing another person's level and class. Because the government purchased every discovered scouter for enormous sums, obtaining one became extremely difficult. After getting a scouter himself, Ryoji tested it and discovered his battle power appeared low. While examining the device, Ryoji encountered Kyoko and worried she might recognize the scouter, mistaking it for cosplay equipment. Kyoko admired the device while Ryoji avoided explaining its true purpose. While admiring the headset, Kyoko revealed a level 1 warrior street Atis, displayed on her palm. Using the scouter, Ryoji confirmed the status was real and stared at the unexpected discovery. Shocked, Ryoji wondered how Kyoko possessed an adventurer trait without entering any dungeon. Remembering countless tragedies from another world, Ryoji worried Kyoko might rush into danger without proper guidance. To discourage her curiosity, Ryoji claimed the scouter was a rare item unavailable for purchase. While studying with Kyoko, Ryoji decided worrying about her trait could wait until circumstances changed. When Kyoko asked about his improved grades, Ryoji claimed he simply studied harder than before. Unable to think of another excuse, Ryoji jokingly admitted he trained in another world and became smarter. Kyoko misunderstood completely and asked which cram school he attended, leaving Ryoji speechless. Still confused, Kyoko expressed interest in joining the same program, while Ryoji abandoned further explanations. In another world, young Ryoji defeated a copper turtle and learned monsters regenerated unless their cores were destroyed. After finding the hidden core, Ryoji listened while his companion explained the monster's weakness. Although the battle proved difficult, Ryoji continued attacking the shell before regeneration could begin. Noticing his struggle, the woman offered assistance, but Ryoji refused because he wanted to improve alone. When the turtle regenerated and launched a counterattack, Ryoji unleashed thunder magic and defeated it. Princess Iris enjoyed a warm tea break inside the dungeon, while Ryoji defeated the copper turtle. After the victory, Ryoji sensed his body becoming lighter and noticed unusual changes within himself. Returning from battle, Ryoji questioned the tea set's presence as Iris invited him to sit. Iris confirmed Ryoji's level increased after the fight and asked about levels on Earth. Listening to Iris's explanation, Ryoji finally understood the strange sensation he had overlooked before. While discussing level-ups, Ryoji regretted missing previous gains, and Iris assured him memories remained accessible. Iris explained that increased intelligence strengthened memory retention, allowing experiences and knowledge to remain clear. After hearing her explanation, Ryoji concluded defeating monsters and leveling up effectively improved intelligence. As Ryoji sampled Iris's homemade cookies, he imagined becoming a genius after future victories. Their conversation ended abruptly when the defeated copper turtle suddenly revived and charged toward them. The revived copper turtle charged again, but Ryoji rushed forward and defeated the monster instantly. Seeing the shattered remains, Ryoji realized his increased stats had boosted his strength beyond expectations. Nearby, Iris stared at the ruined sweets table, saddened after the sudden attack destroyed everything. While resting afterward, Ryoji reviewed past battles and discovered memories returning, with remarkable clarity, recalling his former achievements. Ryoji wondered whether future level gains could enhance memory even further. After returning from another world, Ryoji faced a school examination and prepared with unusual confidence. Using knowledge enhanced through countless level-ups, Ryoji solved difficult questions with surprising ease. When the results arrived, Ryoji earned first place across every subject and amazed classmates. His outstanding score attracted attention from teachers, who requested a discussion about his future. As classmates crowded around him with admiration, Ryoji excused himself and followed the teacher. Inside the staff room, Ryoji met his teacher, who praised his improvement and discussed future plans. Leaving the meeting, Ryoji regretted attracting attention and realized achieving perfect scores created problems. While walking through the hallway, Ryoji decided future exams required average results to avoid suspicion. Later, Ryoji finished explaining his incredible past, and a classmate listened with great interest. Although she accepted his advice during studies, Ryoji doubted anyone would believe his story. While studying together, Ryoji and his classmate shared snacks before discussing levels and adventurer abilities. His classmate explained that schools now measured adventurer potential, making level checks increasingly important. Growing curious, she suggested Ryoji might possess an adventurer trait, despite his unbelievable stories. Ryoji admitted he already knew about his trait, surprising her and raising further questions. Feeling uneasy about attending alone, she asked Ryoji to accompany her during the level check. Seeing her pleading expression, Ryoji agreed to help, though he recognized the familiar tactic immediately. His classmate celebrated after receiving approval, while Ryoji accepted the request despite brief hesitation. After parting for the day, Ryoji reflected on the upcoming level check with curiosity. Inside the dungeon, Ryoji discussed level indicators with Iris and considered their advantages carefully. Iris explained that hidden levels encourage deception among nobles, leaving Ryoji puzzled by their motives. Iris warned that people often look down on weaker individuals, making visible levels a dangerous thing. As they continued walking, Ryoji remembered the sacrifices required to summon Iris into his world. Ryoji praised Iris for enduring overwhelming pressure and succeeding despite impossible expectations placed upon her. He reminded Iris that she protected and supported him, even when he remained weak. Ryoji promised he would always respect Iris, regardless of how powerful either of them became. Ryoji's heartfelt words overwhelmed Iris, leaving her flustered and ending their dungeon exploration early. Back home, Ryoji reflected on visible levels and realized weaker adventurers often faced unfair treatment. Remembering the upcoming level check, Ryoji developed a bad feeling about possible complications ahead. Elsewhere, government officials gathered for an emergency meeting regarding rapidly expanding dungeon activities worldwide. Their discussion revealed several nations were accelerating dungeon exploration, signaling major changes approaching soon. Facing resource shortages, government leaders declared dungeon exploration essential and prioritized expanding the national adventurer force. Officials noted their nation possessed many dungeons and unusually high adventurer talent compared with others. To discover capable candidates early, authorities introduced level assessments for middle school students nationwide. Believing future prosperity depended on these policies, leaders approved plans for specialized adventurer education. On assessment day, Ryoji and his classmate arrived together and found enormous crowds waiting. While waiting in line, Ryoji and Mitsuhashi discussed dungeon profits as nearby participants argued loudly. Another student rejected his disappointing result and demanded another inspection, frustrating the exhausted staff. After hearing the outcome, Ryoji learned the student possessed no adventurer trait whatsoever. As Mitsuhashi's turn arrived, Ryoji noticed the examiners appeared completely drained from constant complaints. The assessment revealed Mitsuhashi possessed a rare warrior trait, drawing excitement from everyone present. After Mitsuhashi finished successfully, the examiners called Ryoji forward for his long-awaited assessment. When the device scanned him, Ryoji's status displayed only level 1, confusing everyone nearby. The examiner reported no visible level result, prompting Ryoji to request another careful inspection. Mitsuhashi tried calming Ryoji, believing the result meant he lacked an adventurer trait entirely. A staff member discovered Ryoji actually possessed a level 1 warrior trait, creating concern. The examiner warned Ryoji that adventurers without proper roles usually died during early dungeon expeditions. He explained that balanced parties required different jobs, each providing unique skills and combat advantages. Growing frustrated, the examiner declared that people without jobs contributed nothing useful to parties. Ryoji insisted the assessment was mistaken, and claimed he actually possessed a legitimate adventurer job. When Ryoji mentioned clearing dungeons alone, the examiner dismissed his claim and became irritated. Ryoji bluntly revealed his extraordinary achievements, but the examiner dismissed them as impossible exaggerations. As curious students gathered nearby, Mitsuhashi warned Ryoji that his explanations sounded increasingly unbelievable. After hearing specific dungeon details, the examiner apologized and admitted his earlier assumptions were mistaken. Left alone afterward, the examiner realized Ryoji knew confidential information unavailable to the general public. Walking home together, Mitsuhashi encouraged Ryoji about their shared traits and future school applications. As Ryoji and Mitsuhashi walked home, a classmate approached and called out to her. The student proudly revealed his hunter trait, and Mitsuhashi congratulated him with genuine excitement. Watching them interact, Ryoji felt pleased, though his hidden hero status remained completely unnoticed. Interested in adventurer opportunities, Mitsuhashi agreed to attend a job orientation with the student. As they left together discussing their futures, Ryoji quietly watched them from behind. Isabella Renee Clinage announced that leveling progress had slowed, leading her party toward deeper dungeon floors. Gathering her companions at the entrance, Isabella entered the dungeon and guided everyone forward. While exploring deeper sections, Isabella considered her Holy Knight class, which surpassed most combat professions. After reaching the first floor corridor, the party encountered slimes, despite clearing the area yesterday. Seeing the approaching monsters, Isabella ordered a battle formation as frontliners advanced and supporters watched. The party attacked approaching slimes with magic and healing support, but several monsters resisted elimination. While fighting nearby slimes, Isabella noticed enemies appearing behind them, creating confusion throughout the group. Isabella defeated another slime and realized monsters respawned, providing valuable combat experience for adventurers. The adventurers compared dungeon mechanics to games, though Isabella reminded them injuries remained real. After securing the area, Isabella led everyone downward toward the second floor, remaining alert for goblins. A goblin suddenly appeared behind the young witch, catching her attention before the creature attacked. Startled by the ambush, she screamed and cast Fireball, driving the goblin away from her. Isabella praised her victory against the goblin and offered potions to support future battles. After receiving instructions, Isabella prepared to guard the rear while everyone approached the second floor. A massive goblin horde emerged unexpectedly, forcing Isabella and the party to defend Countess Avril. The party watched Isabella defeat goblins effortlessly, realizing the Countess possessed strength far beyond expectations. Meanwhile, the young healer felt discouraged, believing she contributed less than Isabella during battles. Determined to help, several guards rushed forward, volunteering to eliminate goblins threatening the rear. After the battle ended, the healer finally used recovery magic, restoring exhausted guards and adventurers. Leveling up during combat, Isabella learned healing and immediately assisted injured companions recovering from battle. After returning safely, Isabella presented the expedition results, revealing large amounts of materials and loot. Calculating the rewards, Isabella estimated substantial profits and promised an equal distribution among members. Before celebrations continued, Duke Grobner arrived unexpectedly and criticized Isabella's appearance in front of everyone. The Duke questioned her authority over the dungeon and pressured Isabella regarding her family's position, smiling confidently. Duke Grobner demanded half the dungeon profits, shocking Isabella and her companions. Refusing the demand, Isabella offered only her own share and protected rewards earned by companions. Isabella argued that dungeons caused countless deaths and required responsible management, rather than private exploitation. Remaining respectful, Isabella explained such dangers could not be solved through levels alone or strength. Duke Grobner dismissed her argument, insisting no adventurer could conquer the deepest floors alone. Hearing Isabella's reasoning, the Duke quietly reconsidered his plans and evaluated future dungeon opportunities. After rejecting the Duke's proposal, Isabella watched him leave while frustration continued building within. Standing silently in the rain, Isabella wondered whether her future would remain restricted forever. Meanwhile, in Tokyo, Ryoji suddenly began sneezing repeatedly and questioned the strange condition affecting him. Remembering his increased level, Ryoji suspected illness and considered whether carelessness had caused problems. To remove any possible ailments, Ryoji cast healing on himself and quickly felt better. After healing himself, Ryoji used teleportation and invisibility before heading toward the Ueno Park dungeon, moving through hidden passages. Ryoji confirmed the dungeon matched the Demon Lord's former stronghold. Recalling past battles, Ryoji remembered the Demon Lord waiting beneath floor 1000's depths. Descending carefully, Ryoji used detection and searched for familiar enemies, hidden somewhere below. Reaching the chamber, Ryoji discovered a gigantic black dragon instead of the expected Demon Lord. The black dragon attacked with surprising speed, forcing Ryoji to evade while drawing Godslayer. After a precise strike, Ryoji severed the dragon's tail and observed its sudden instability. Losing its tail disrupted balance completely, preventing the dragon from maintaining stable flight anymore. Ryoji launched ice arrows repeatedly, yet the dragon endured the attacks with overwhelming durability. Before Ryoji could advance further, another blazing projectile appeared and exploded directly nearby. The dragon's explosion struck nearby, leaving Ryoji exhausted, while the monster prepared another attack, opening its jaws. The black dragon cast Meteor, summoning a massive projectile toward Ryoji. Exploiting the attack's opening, Ryoji counterattacked and defeated the dragon before Meteor could land. After the victory, Ryoji gained 12 levels instantly, but noticed his displayed level remained unchanged. Examining the enormous corpse and treasure, Ryoji regretted lacking a method to transport everything. Searching the chamber carefully, Ryoji finally discovered the dungeon core, hidden among countless treasures. Inspecting the core, Ryoji remembered its ability to grant instant travel between dungeon floors. Delighted by the discovery, Ryoji realized gathering materials and training would become significantly easier. Ryoji wondered whether this dungeon core could also connect different dungeons beyond its territory. Unable to carry everything, Ryoji collected valuable items first and postponed handling remaining treasure. After collecting the treasure, Ryoji discovered his item box still had space remaining unexpectedly. Satisfied with his strength, Ryoji decided to begin a plan supporting his peaceful lifestyle. Returning home late, Ryoji rested briefly while thinking about becoming a successful adventurer influencer. The next morning, Ryoji met Kyoko, who shared recent news about Japan's growing dungeons. Curious about her appearance, Ryoji noticed Kyoko's hairstyle had changed since their last meeting. Walking to school, Ryoji dismissed rumors about monsters escaping dungeons and causing widespread civilian casualties. Although convinced by Ryoji's explanation, Kyoko still worried about humanity facing future monster threats. Kyoko shared an article describing an ancient civilization destroyed after dungeons and monsters suddenly appeared. Soon afterward, Kiri joined them on the way to school and greeted both friends warmly. Observing Ki closely, Ryoji remembered seeing him before and recalled his status as a hunter. Kiki complimented Kyoko's new hairstyle, making her happy before they continued toward school together. As they walked away together, Ryoji felt strangely unsettled and questioned the unfamiliar emotion. Watching Kyoko and Kai together, Ryoji wondered whether he had developed feelings for Kyoko. After observing them longer, Ryoji compared his discomfort to a father meeting his daughter's boyfriend. Realizing Kyoko felt like family, Ryoji finally understood his emotions and felt immediate relief. Later at school, classmates discussed recent fake dungeon walkthrough incidents that fooled many people. Hearing the reports, Ryoji questioned why people continued believing dangerous misinformation about dungeon exploration during class. Ryoji learned many students were watching popular dungeon walkthrough videos online recently. After hearing the discussion, Ryoji left for the restroom while Kyoko remained inside the classroom. Thinking carefully, Ryoji recalled watching several videos and discovered every supposed dungeon guide was fake. Suspicious of the situation, Ryoji decided to check his item box for possible clues. Activating the item box unexpectedly, Ryoji found himself facing another version of himself inside. Inside the restroom, Ryoji discovered a substitute doll resembling himself and capable of independent actions. Testing its abilities, Ryoji learned the substitute could replace him temporarily without attracting suspicion. After giving instructions, Ryoji sent the substitute back to class while preparing another task. Returning home later, Ryoji finalized travel arrangements and completed several important preparations online. Before departing, Ryoji remembered his parents and promised to use their savings responsibly. Just before leaving, Ryoji remembered an important task and checked whether he had forgotten anything. Using teleportation, Ryoji arrived at Haneda Airport and concealed himself with invisibility before entering. Inside the airport, Ryoji noticed another traveler nearby and assumed nobody else was present. Experiencing airport security for the first time, Ryoji felt nervous while waiting for departure. While heading toward the boarding area, Ryoji reconsidered using money obtained from recent adventures. After boarding successfully, Ryoji found his assigned seat and prepared for the long journey. During the flight, Ryoji admired modern transportation and compared airplanes with magical travel methods. Arriving in Katsurahama, Ryoji felt satisfied because future visits would require only teleportation. Following the crowd, Ryoji reached the dungeon entrance where visitors waited patiently outside. Observing the gathering, Ryoji realized many people trusted online guides and explored dangerous dungeons. After entering the dungeon alone, Ryoji confirmed its layout matched the one from another world. Using his item box, Ryoji retrieved a custom drone golem equipped with a camera. Remembering Isabella, Ryoji reflected on magical engineering skills learned during his previous adventures. To increase efficiency, Ryoji modified the design and produced several additional drone golems. Activating invisibility again, Ryoji deployed the drones and prepared to observe adventurers safely. Before recording, Ryoji changed outfits and realized a professional appearance would improve his presentation. Back at school, classmates noticed subtle changes in Ryoji's behavior and appearance during lessons. Feeling relieved, Ryoji confirmed his substitute doll functioned properly and avoided attracting suspicion. Returning to the dungeon, Ryoji equipped a helmet and prepared to begin filming anonymously. Facing the camera nervously, Ryoji launched his dungeon information channel and recorded his first introduction. Nervous before filming, Ryoji introduced his channel and announced plans to explore Katsurahama Dungeon. Struggling with anxiety, Ryoji postponed detailed strategy explanations and focused on completing the introduction. After many failed attempts, Ryoji finally recorded a usable opening and prepared the upload. While filming nearby, Ryoji noticed adventurers watching him and felt embarrassed by the attention. Beginning the exploration, Ryoji reached the first floor entrance where adventurers battled slimes nearby. While recording, Ryoji warned viewers that dungeons remain dangerous, despite their valuable rewards and opportunities. Growing more comfortable on camera, Ryoji explained important routes and dangers throughout the floor. Reaching a side room, Ryoji discovered a treasure chest and demonstrated basic dungeon exploration. Opening the chest, Ryoji found a potion and shared information about treasure chest respawns. After triggering a trap accidentally, Ryoji quickly recovered and continued presenting useful dungeon advice. Finishing the first floor guide, Ryoji warned viewers about stairs leading toward the second floor. While introducing the next area, Ryoji explained goblins replaced slimes as the primary threat. After stumbling again, Ryoji laughed awkwardly and continued filming despite another embarrassing mistake. Suddenly, a frightened woman ran toward Ryoji while several goblins chased closely behind her. Reacting immediately, Ryoji cast 2 fireballs and eliminated the pursuing goblins before harm occurred. After saving the woman, Ryoji learned her friend had been captured and taken deeper underground. Using detection immediately, Ryoji located the captive's position and agreed to provide assistance. Following Ryoji through the corridors, the woman struggled to keep pace with his speed. They reached the location quickly, where several goblins surrounded a prisoner and demanded help. Upon seeing the captive, Ryoji discovered the woman's friend was actually an elderly man. Seeing the pair together, Ryoji imagined Kyoko and Kei adventuring together, disrupting his concentration. The misfired fireball exploded with tremendous force, shaking the corridor and startling the rescued woman. Checking the aftermath quickly, Ryoji confirmed nobody was injured despite the unexpected magical accident. Afterward, the rescued man thanked Ryoji and asked about the unusually destructive spell used. Although grateful for rescue, the man felt Ryoji's overwhelming attack had been somewhat excessive. The rescued man questioned Ryoji's actions, but Ryoji explained the dungeon remained dangerously unstable. Soon afterward, the rescued woman returned and received a stern lecture about dungeon safety. Watching them leave together, Ryoji suspected the pair might continue causing trouble in future. Recalling Isabella's words, Ryoji concluded adventurers must accept responsibility for their own decisions. After leaving the dungeon, Ryoji returned home and planned another exploration for the following day. Reviewing his schedule, Ryoji calculated he could gradually explore every major dungeon across Japan. While planning future content, Ryoji realized editing videos would require far more effort. At home, Ryoji watched his favorite creator and searched for ideas to improve videos. The following day, Ryoji skipped lunch until Yamada approached and asked about his plans. Yamada generously shared homemade food, allowing Ryoji to enjoy lunch with a classmate. After sharing lunch, Yamada declared their friendship, leaving Ryoji unexpectedly touched by the gesture. Later, Ryoji sensed trouble and remembered the frightened woman he encountered inside the dungeon. Meanwhile, the woman called for help again as goblins cornered her near the shoreline. As goblins approached excitedly, the terrified woman struggled desperately while her companion watched helplessly. After freezing the goblins, Ryoji instructed the pair to return safely toward the first floor. The relieved woman and elderly man thanked Ryoji repeatedly while waiting to be untied. Once freed, the pair embraced happily and expressed gratitude toward the mysterious masked adventurer. Feeling responsible, Ryoji reminded them their lack of preparation nearly caused another dangerous incident. Hearing their explanation about misleading videos, Ryoji realized his channel could genuinely help adventurers. Ryoji Furuya returned to Japan, where Proto awakened him and attached a mysterious weight reduction device. While testing the device, Ryoji became light and lost balance, crashing directly into Proto. Proto explained the misunderstanding and reminded Ryoji that the promised device had always belonged to him. When Proto prepared to disable the effect, Ryoji stopped him after hearing the serious warning. Proto revealed a dungeon had appeared nearby, connecting Ryoji's current world with his former one. Ryoji explained that correcting dungeon information was necessary because false routes could cause civilization's decline. Proto offered assistance inside the dungeon, but Ryoji instead assigned him responsibility for editing. Proto questioned his usefulness outside exploration, while Ryoji explained shallow dungeon layers posed little danger. Ryoji refused to bring Proto along because revealing a golem's existence would attract unwanted attention. Despite Proto's disappointed reaction, Ryoji remained firm, fearing destruction or exposure would bring regret. Ryoji taught Proto video editing basics and provided a reference file for future editing work. Proto compared computers to specialized golems while Ryoji explained their operation through internet knowledge. Ryoji introduced the mouse and keyboard, helping Proto understand the computer's essential control tools. After Proto accepted access permissions, Ryoji urgently warned him against opening a certain folder. Proto later questioned the password, and Ryoji explained he had transferred data into the computer. Proto deleted the forbidden folder, causing Ryoji embarrassment after realizing his private anime collection vanished. Ryoji instructed Proto to continue learning video editing while he prepared for dungeon filming. Proto mentioned Ryoji's family, prompting him to pause and reflect on people he missed. Although Ryoji confirmed meeting them before, he asked Proto to avoid discussing family matters. Approaching Ueno Park Dungeon, Ryoji realized its appearance matched dungeons that existed within his former world. Ryoji examined the dungeon base area and decided filming the 14th layer would provide better footage. Reaching the 5th layer, Ryoji encountered numerous mad bees and prepared to finish filming quickly. Using his knowledge, Ryoji targeted the monsters' weaknesses and defeated them without damaging valuable materials. Ryoji unleashed Kamatatachi repeatedly, slicing through the mad bees and severing their joints with precision. After eliminating every threat, Ryoji resumed recording and planned a detailed map explanation video. While exploring the dungeon, Ryoji wondered whether Proto could truly master video editing without guidance. Ryoji remembered creating Proto first, improving each version repeatedly until achieving his current form. Over many years together, Proto gained reliability and humanity, becoming someone Ryoji trusted completely. Ryoji recalled leaving chores to Proto, causing a bond that resembled family more than partnership. Although video editing motivated Proto's awakening, Ryoji knew another important reason remained unspoken. Standing alone inside the dungeon, Ryoji admitted he never returned to this world without companions. After returning home, Ryoji discovered Proto had completed numerous edited videos during his absence. Proto revealed he edited 18 videos, leaving Ryoji shocked by the incredible amount completed. Reviewing the footage, Ryoji noticed several awkward scenes, while Proto considered those mistakes intentional. As Proto discussed highlighting exciting moments, Ryoji found himself enjoying their partnership once again. On the Adventurer High School entrance exam day, Ryoji learned Kyoko had already departed earlier. Kyoko greeted Ryoji warmly, then wondered whether a disagreement had separated him from friends. At Tokyo Ueno Adventurer High School, Ryoji completed the examination and felt newly motivated. After the exam, another student warned Kyoko against becoming too close to Furuya. The student argued Ryoji lacked value during team tests and would only become a burden. Hearing the conversation nearby, Ryoji realized Kyoko agreed because everyone feared becoming liabilities during battles. Ryoji remained calm. Knowing his enhanced hearing allowed him to catch every whispered comment. As they walked together, Ryoji noticed many students already judged adventurers based on employment prospects. Ryoji considered revealing his true strength, but hiding his unusual level seemed much simpler. Kyoko approached afterward and asked about the examination, creating a more comfortable atmosphere between them. Kyoko left with Ki-kun, while Ryoji believed those misunderstandings would eventually disappear on their own. Watching them together, Ryoji decided to inspect the school grounds and prepare future teleportation points. During graduation season, Ryoji reflected on friendships and exchanged farewells before beginning a new chapter. Ryoji remembered that graduates could finally enter dungeons, legally under the current adventurer regulations. Thinking about Kyoko's future, Ryoji hoped false information would never lead his childhood friend astray. As March 31st approached midnight, Ryoji counted the final seconds before graduation officially arrived. The moment graduation began, Ryoji urgently called Proto and prepared to launch their plans. Following Ryoji's order, Proto published their dungeon channel, making exploration information available to everyone. Late in March, a mysterious cowgirl adventurer appeared, introducing a new figure within the dungeon scene. Inside Ueno Park Dungeon, adventurers argued over hunting spots as competition increased around valuable monsters. Seeing the overcrowded area, Kunami and his companion realized earning money there had become difficult. The pair concluded economic troubles had pushed many unemployed people toward dungeon exploration opportunities. Facing reduced profits, Kunami asked whether deeper hunting grounds could restore his previous earnings. Kunami discussed dangerous rumors, explaining that false dungeon information continued misleading inexperienced adventurers toward risk. Elsewhere, two female adventurers noticed a suspicious route and questioned whether a video caused it. A slime suddenly attacked Sarah, forcing her companion Taylor to watch the frightening incident. News of the accident spread online, generating complaints, accusations, and heated arguments beneath videos. As criticism intensified, authorities launched an investigation, believing fake dungeon guides might cause fatalities. Questioned by investigators, Ryoji's lawyer demanded evidence, arguing the videos clearly warned viewers about risks. A determined investigator believed proving the dungeon's reality required obtaining undeniable footage from inside. At Takanasu Television, executives saw enormous profit potential and ordered staff to secure dungeon recordings. When negotiations failed, a ruthless manager threatened contract termination, forcing subordinates toward desperate measures. While traveling together, several men discussed selling valuable footage, despite suspecting their final plan seemed dangerous. Inside Ueno Park Dungeon, a television crew discovered their expensive camera failed to function properly. After learning the camera cost 10 million yen, the crew realized recovering expenses seemed impossible. At midnight, on April 1st, Proto launched the Dungeon Exploration Information Channel and released every video. Ryoji assumed Proto published everything manually, then learned automated scheduling had handled the entire release. Watching the channel's first video begin, Ryoji celebrated the official start of his project. Employees at Takyu Video Production discovered authentic dungeon footage and rushed to report it immediately. Watching the video, staff questioned its authenticity, while others considered stealing equipment to investigate further. After Yama released the footage, investigators reviewed it carefully and suspected the recording was genuine. Convinced by the detailed map and scenery, viewers began comparing the guide with reality. Across Roppongi, news of the dungeon walkthrough spread rapidly as curious crowds discussed the viral video. As the video spread nationwide, people shared links rapidly while emergency broadcasts reported communication disruptions. Checking the channel statistics, Ryoji watched views and subscribers surge far beyond expectations overnight. Proto proudly claimed credit for the success, while Ryoji jokingly thanked his editing efforts. Excited by the growing numbers, Ryoji repeatedly refreshed the page and monitored every update. The website suddenly slowed down, and Proto concluded overwhelming traffic had overloaded the server. At the White House, officials discovered nationwide communication failures and rushed to assess the growing crisis. Government advisors suspected a foreign cyber attack, prompting urgent discussions about possible enemies and motives. After reviewing new reports, senior officials realized the situation could not be explained easily. Investigators found global attention centered on Ryoji's channel, dominating conversations, emails, and online activity. Examining the channel's statistics, Officials questioned Ryoji's identity and feared serious international consequences. American officials identified the viral Dungeon Exploration Information Channel as the source of worldwide attention. The channel's armored presenter explained slime strategies, convincing viewers the dungeon footage appeared authentic. Seeking expert verification, the president asked Linda Bluestone to evaluate the controversial recording personally. After careful examination, Linda confirmed the footage was genuine and judged the creator highly experienced. Accepting Linda's assessment, government officials requested information about DTJC and its mysterious Japanese owner. Linda proposed exploring Rocky Mountain Dungeon and offered matching footage if given DTJC's camera technology. The president realized Linda changed plans because the video's creator appeared stronger than her American officials, began discussing negotiations, recognizing nations worldwide would soon compete over DTJC's influence. Back in Japan, Ryoji relaxed at home, while arguing with Proto during a racing game. Ryoji then received a call from Kijima-sensei, and arranged a meeting near the station. After receiving a late-night call, Ryoji left home and headed out to discuss future plans. Ryoji arrived at a family restaurant where Kijima-sensei had arranged a private meeting location. When Kijima-sensei finally appeared, Ryoji noticed her unusual haste and growing nervousness immediately. The pair moved toward a quieter table, preparing to discuss matters away from other customers. After apologizing for the sudden meeting, Kijima-sensei ordered drinks and began addressing important business. While ordering drinks, Ryoji noticed Kijima-sensei's efficiency and wondered why she seemed unusually composed. Kijima-sensei revealed the channel gained 300 million subscribers within hours, leaving Ryoji completely stunned. After hearing the unbelievable numbers, Ryoji smiled proudly, while accepting Kijima-sensei's sincere congratulations. Kijima-sensei then questioned the dungeon footage, seeking confirmation before discussing legal and business concerns. Ryoji explained his modified camera required rare materials and exceptional levels, preventing others from copying it. Ryoji explained that dungeon walkthroughs required experience and knowledge, making simple camera ownership insufficient. After considering his explanation, Kijima-sensei concluded Ryoji possessed a significant advantage over competitors. Kijima-sensei revealed monetization approval had arrived, predicting annual revenue could exceed billions through videos. Reading the notification, Ryoji learned platforms offered incentives for exclusive distribution rights agreements. Following Kijima-sensei's advice, Ryoji considered signing an exclusive contract to protect future content. After reviewing the contract, Ryoji learned the annual payment reached 40 million yen surprisingly quickly. Kijima-sensei considered the amount modest and suggested expanding Furuya Kikaku with professional assistance soon. Trusting her judgment, Ryoji delegated legal and accounting matters while focusing on content creation. Kijima-sensei explained those expenses could reduce taxes and help resolve future business complications. Before ending the meeting, Kijima-sensei promised contracts with both companies would be signed tomorrow. Ryoji complimented Kijima-sensei's shirt, accidentally drawing attention to her cat-patterned pajama design underneath. Embarrassed by the misunderstanding, Kijima-sensei explained she rushed out wearing pajamas beneath business clothes. After finishing dinner, Kijima-sensei introduced herself as the company's accounting representative and departed gracefully. Walking away, Kijima-sensei apologized repeatedly, while Ryoji remained confused about her unusual behavior. Realizing her mistake, Kijima-sensei accepted Ryoji's help and followed him toward his nearby home. Walking home together, Ryoji explained he wanted safer dungeons, efficient resources, and continued anime enjoyment. Hearing his goals, Kijima-sensei smiled warmly and encouraged Ryoji to continue producing dungeon guides. Across the country, countless people awaited reliable dungeon information. Unaware a teenager created everything. Before parting ways, Kijima-sensei promised support whenever Ryoji encountered legal or business difficulties. Outside the Furuya residence, Kijima-sensei bowed politely, leaving Ryoji impressed by her manners. Concerned for her safety, Ryoji secretly followed Kijima-sensei until she safely entered a taxi. Before defeating the Demon King, humanity gathered allied nations and prepared for a decisive battle. Standing before countless soldiers, Ryoji felt nervous as leaders declared humanity's future depended on victory. A pink-haired companion reassured Ryoji, urging him to focus solely on defeating enemies ahead. She reminded Ryoji that success would solve many problems, then jokingly mentioned his heroic debt. Charging into battle, Ryoji destroyed the enemy's main force and secured humanity's overwhelming advance. On the channel's second day, Ryoji asked Proto to summarize the rapidly increasing viewer comments. Proto reported foreign viewers praised the videos, while many Japanese comments expressed harsh criticism. Expecting compliments, Ryoji eagerly checked the feedback and prepared to enjoy the responses. Instead, countless insults, accusations, and attacks flooded the comment section, shocking Ryoji completely. Seeing his disappointment, Proto pointed out supportive messages and encouraged Ryoji to stay positive. Proto advised Ryoji to ignore hateful comments, explaining anonymous insults often came from insignificant people. To encourage him further, Proto displayed a childish character who awkwardly praised Ryoji's efforts. Surprised by Proto's strange method, Ryoji admitted the encouragement worked better than expected. Their conversation reminded Ryoji of similar events from his previous world during difficult times. Ryoji remembered a companion praising his achievements after helping humanity defeat the Demon King's army. Ryoji questioned whether recognition mattered, believing defeating the Demon King should already prove his worth. At a formal gathering, Princess Daenerys publicly praised Ryoji's remarkable contributions during humanity's victory. Some attendees suspected manipulation, arguing the Demon King's army acted strangely and suspiciously throughout. Daenerys fiercely rejected those accusations, insisting Ryoji's extraordinary growth resulted from genuine effort alone. Holding back tears, Daenerys begged everyone not to slander Ryoji, whose life remained endangered. Many nobles remained unconvinced, claiming Daenerys' emotional defense seemed suspicious rather than persuasive. During their return journey, Daenerys stayed silent and distanced herself from everyone around her. Ryoji requested freedom, choosing future dungeon targets. Yet Daenerys insisted royal approval remained necessary. Daenerys apologized for worrying Ryoji, finally revealing concern had been troubling her thoughts. She realized saving humanity alone would not guarantee public support or universal admiration. Daenerys wondered about her feelings, while Ryoji admitted he genuinely did not understand them. She declared commitment towards saving this world, believing defeating the Demon King remained essential. Ryoji reflected on past events, suspecting Daenerys once carried similar feelings and worries. He quietly questioned whether Daenerys experienced emotions resembling his own during earlier struggles. Proto interrupted his thoughts, redirecting attention toward overwhelming video comments and channel management. Proto explained ignoring comments removes anxiety, though it also prevents seeing valuable audience opinions. Ryoji questioned why Proto continued explaining after he had already accepted the suggestion. Proto insisted complete explanations mattered, encouraging Ryoji to listen before reaching conclusions prematurely. Ryoji felt relieved after understanding, praising Proto's advice, and appreciating his thoughtful guidance. With video reserves shrinking, Ryoji decided recording additional dungeon walkthroughs should become priority. Ryoji introduced the 27th floor, explaining its maze structure and dangerous black scorpion monsters. After forgetting his helmet, Ryoji considered retaking footage, though frustration drained his motivation. Feeling exhausted and distracted, he decided taking a temporary break from filming seemed wiser. Back home, Ryoji wondered whether Kyoko had watched his rapidly growing dungeon channel. Proto revealed the channel dominated conversations everywhere, becoming a nationwide topic across many platforms. Ryoji considered watching the television special, curious how media would portray dungeon developments across Japan. The broadcast explained resource shortages eased after dungeons appeared, providing valuable materials for society. Reporters described failing industries before dungeon resources emerged, highlighting worsening economic conditions worldwide. The program revealed magical minerals transformed civilization, giving humanity renewed hope through exploration. Proto immediately wanted investment opportunities, while Ryoji focused on contracts instead of speculation. Only adventurers possessing special traits and sufficient levels could safely hunt monsters beyond lower floors. Monster casualties exceeded 10 million worldwide, while firearms and electronics proved useless inside dungeons. Proto noted the television program had not yet reached the channel's actual origin story. The broadcast introduced Professor Shinohara, a renowned expert frequently consulted regarding dungeon phenomena. Professor Shinohara argued civilization's decline remained unavoidable, with dungeon resources merely delaying inevitable collapse. The television special introduced DTJC, praising its unprecedented dungeon footage and detailed walkthrough information. Reporters claimed DTJC possessed maps and monster data never captured before within dungeons. Ryoji reacted with shock because nobody had interviewed him regarding the channel's creation. An armored figure appeared claiming responsibility, explaining he uploaded videos to help humanity survive. Proto mocked the self-proclaimed expert, insisting the man lacked genuine dungeon experience entirely. While the fake interviewer promoted DTJC exclusively, one statement unexpectedly earned Ryoji's agreement. Furious about the impersonation, he rejected any comparison between their distinct helmet designs. Concerned about growing copycats, the young creator consulted Furuya regarding possible legal action to prevent future incidents. Furuya promised a comprehensive investigation and stronger protective measures. Before ending their discussion, she unexpectedly brought up a mysterious piggyback recording. To Ryoji's disbelief, an elderly woman appeared claiming she was DTJC's concerned mother. Soon afterward, supposed relatives and classmates surfaced, each apologizing for the channel's controversies. Hearing those claims, Furuya questioned whether Ryoji recognized any of the alleged acquaintances. Determined to stop further impersonations, she promised a thorough investigation into every suspicious individual. As another precaution, Furuya suggested releasing a statement, warning people about ongoing defamation. With the investigation settled, Ryoji promised he would finish editing and upload today's video. Before leaving, Furuya hesitantly asked whether the newest dungeon walkthrough production progressed smoothly. A warm smile appeared, as she admitted repeatedly watching his videos with genuine excitement. Since adventurer abilities never awakened within her, those recordings offered thrilling experiences through imagination. Grateful for the channel's influence, she explained how even non-adventurers enjoyed dungeon exploration indirectly. Looking directly at Ryoji, Furuya admitted she eagerly awaited his next upload and future adventures. Returning home afterward, he greeted Proto while carrying an unusually cheerful expression across his face. When questioned about his mood, Ryoji explained he planned filming the requested walkthrough immediately. Crowds filled the dungeon entrance today, forcing him to search quieter locations before recording. After scanning deeper sections, he noticed numerous adventurers gathering there and suspected his influence. While searching deeper floors, Ryoji suddenly recognized Kyoko and Ito exploring together inside the dungeon. Activating concealment and detection skills, he quietly observed them without revealing his presence nearby. Confidently, Kachi reassured Kyoko that preparation through DTJC videos would handle unexpected dangers effectively. A romantic atmosphere formed when Kachi promised protection, causing Kyoko's expression to soften immediately. From behind a wall, Ryoji witnessed everything unfold and realized the situation seemed troublesome. Later, DTJC released an announcement warning impersonators, while requesting continued support from viewers everywhere. Watching the statement, Ryoji noticed Proto using another questionable performance, though he found it amusing. On the morning of the entrance ceremony, Kyoko unexpectedly appeared outside Ryoji's house. Confused by her visit, he suggested going together, but Kyoko immediately rejected the idea. Instead, she revealed that Kai's infidelity had ended their relationship, leaving Ryoji stunned. While riding the train, their attention shifted toward adventurers who attracted constant public interest. A surprising exchange followed when Kyoko discovered Ryoji secretly visited dungeons every day. Noticing his unusual behavior, Kyoko pointed out how differently Ryoji acted compared with other adventurers. After discussing future careers, she tried encouraging him, though Ryoji awkwardly rejected the praise. The conversation softened as Ryoji remarked that Kyoko seemed unchanged despite recent events. Soon afterward, both arrived at Adventurer High School and noticed crowds gathered outside the entrance. Before they could enter, several reporters approached and began asking questions about the school. When reporters asked about their levels, Kyoko confidently introduced herself before turning to Ryoji. To everyone's surprise, he casually revealed his hero class, an extraordinarily high level. Rather than doubting him, the reporter accepted his answer while Kyoko watched in disbelief. Inside the school, students gathered around the class lists to check their assignments. Confusion quickly replaced his calm expression after Ryoji failed to find his name in Class A. Seeing his placement, Ryoji suspected a mistake because his results should have earned top ranking. Meanwhile, Kyoko noticed Kati had been assigned to Class A, which only deepened Ryoji's frustration. After finding her own name in Class B, she accepted the outcome, despite lingering resentment. Determined to uncover the reason, Ryoji headed toward the staff room for answers. Before he could leave, Kyoko discovered his name listed in Class S instead. While checking the roster again, Kyoko discovered a shocking detail showing Ryoji assigned to Class E. The bizarre placement shattered his expectations, leaving Ryoji frozen as disbelief overwhelmed his thoughts. Questions filled his mind because nothing about the result matched the effort behind his achievements. At that moment, memories returned of 10 years spent battling monsters after another world summoned him. Despite defeating the Demon King and surpassing level 1500, Ryoji somehow received the lowest classification. Trying to stay composed, Ryoji joked that Class E might stand for something exceptional rather than failure. Kyoko corrected him, explaining that Class E represented the lowest ranking within the school's system. Although disappointment weighed heavily on him, Ryoji forced a smile and headed toward his classroom. Upon entering Class E, He found discouraged students and wondered why someone with his record belonged there. Sato introduced herself and explained Class E consisted of students lacking visible adventurer traits. Addressing the class, Sato explained that improving their levels could eventually earn opportunities to change classes. Hearing that announcement, Ryoji's interest returned, as he realized advancement remained possible. After all, determined to reach Class A, he considered proving himself despite currently displaying only a Level 1 status. Even with renewed motivation, Ryoji questioned whether escaping Class E would prove more difficult than expected. The orientation continued as Sato warned students about dungeon dangers, causing several classmates to laugh. While discussing, Sato explained how different jobs should cooperate to create balanced dungeon teams. AES classmates considered their future roles. One student approached Ryoji and asked about his profession. Caught off guard by the question, he hesitated briefly before admitting he possessed no job at all. The unexpected answer stunned nearby students, whose expressions shifted from curiosity to complete disbelief. Mocking laughter soon spread across the classroom as many questioned how someone jobless entered the school. Standing before his classmates, Ryoji endured ridicule, despite carrying achievements far beyond anything they imagined. Soon, the entire classroom joined the mockery, shouting about his missing job and status. Embarrassment spread across Ryoji's face as he struggled to understand the crowd's harsh reaction. Unable to tolerate the bullying, Sato stepped forward and revealed Ryoji's outstanding examination results. Her explanation confirmed he ranked among the best students. Though his lack of a job remained, ignoring Sato's defense, several classmates continued mocking Ryoji and questioned whether he even belonged there. Their insults grew harsher as students claimed partnering with a jobless adventurer would only create problems. Without showing anger, Ryoji announced his plan to enter a dungeon and requested permission to leave, while the class reacted with surprise. One boy remained convinced Ryoji lacked the courage to fight. After refusing every suggestion, Ryoji declared he would go alone, leaving his classmates even more confused. Despite Sato's concern, Ryoji dismissed the ridicule and decided remaining in class served no purpose. Laughter echoed throughout the room as classmates mocked his decision, convinced he would accomplish nothing. Meanwhile, another student confronted the loudest bully, questioning why he seemed obsessed with Ryoji. Their argument intensified when the bully defended his strength and claimed superiority through his martial artist job. Leaving the school behind, Ryoji headed toward Ueno Park Dungeon and welcomed the chance to act. After obtaining permission to leave school, Ryoji completed the required procedures before entering the dungeon. Inside the facility, he passed changing rooms and rental lockers prepared for registered adventurers. Comparing both worlds, Ryoji noticed modern dungeons offered conveniences similar to those from his past. To avoid unnecessary attention, he activated invisibility and descended straight toward the deepest floor. Within moments, Ryoji confronted the Black Dragon, the dungeon boss feared by countless adventurers. The Black Dragon launched a devastating charge, but Ryoji anticipated the attack and avoided danger completely. Drawing upon combat experience, he predicted the incoming breath attack and disrupted it with magic. Seizing the opening, Ryoji struck and defeated the dungeon boss in just over 5 seconds. Among the rewards, a rare skill book appeared, prompting Ryoji to inspect its contents immediately. After reviewing the effect, he concluded the skill remained too weak for his current level. Returning home after school, Ryoji completed his usual routine and casually defeated the Black Dragon. With preparations finished, he decided the moment had finally arrived to launch his recording channel. Wearing a mask and apron, Ryoji nervously prepared a unique dungeon information program for viewers. Meanwhile, his household robot handled the camera equipment and began counting down for filming. Once recording started, Ryoji stumbled over his introduction, creating an awkward but memorable opening. After calming his nerves, Ryoji introduced slime mucus and explained its surprisingly wide range of uses. Watching from behind the camera, the household robot worried his unusual presentation might confuse viewers. Holding a potion bottle, Ryoji described common dungeon drops and explained why adventurers often ignored them. Drawing from extensive knowledge, he revealed that slime mucus served as a crucial stabilizing ingredient. To demonstrate the process clearly, Ryoji prepared his tools and began crafting the potion himself. With the preparation complete, Ryoji presented the finished potion and decided to test it immediately. After drinking the mixture, he described its effects and claimed his skin already felt smoother. Once filming ended, uncertainty struck Ryoji as he wondered whether the recording looked professional enough. Sensing his concern, the household robot suggested repeated retakes until he felt satisfied with everything. The following morning brought astonishing news when Ryoji learned his channel had gained millions of subscribers. Checking market trends, Ryoji discovered medicinal moss prices had risen sharply due to limited supply. Rather than selling everything immediately, he considered releasing small amounts to avoid attracting suspicion. As his influence expanded, Ryoji continued uploading dungeon guides while helping adventurers through practical information. Months passed quickly, and every video attracted enormous audiences while countless viewers expressed their gratitude. When the second semester began, excited students gathered to discuss a stunning transfer student arriving soon. Amid the growing rumors, Ryoji overheard discussions about a beautiful transfer student arriving from overseas. Without realizing it, Ryoji was about to meet several girls who would become important figures later. Sometime earlier, Linda discovered Ryoji's dungeon channel and questioned whether he was truly exceptional. During a discussion at the White House, officials compared Ryoji with America's strongest young adventurers. While reviewing surveillance footage, Linda became curious about Ryoji's habit of staring toward hidden cameras. Experts concluded his gaze matched the exact moment surveillance teams captured images from distant locations. As suspicions grew, Linda realized Ryoji had likely detected their monitoring efforts long before anyone expected. Seeking a strategic assessment, American officials asked Linda whether any nation could realistically control Ryoji based on his achievements. Linda argued that ordinary military forces stood no chance against someone that powerful. Rather than discussing confrontation further, the president proposed bringing Ryoji to the United States through Linda. Caught off guard by the suggestion, she listened as her grandfather praised Ryoji's character and courage. Embarrassment replaced her composure when he suggested Ryoji would make an ideal partner. Left flustered by her grandfather's remarks, Linda found herself thinking about Ryoji far more often. As those thoughts deepened, she recalled DTJK's achievements and realized Ryoji and his online persona were identical. For a brief moment, Linda even imagined standing beside Ryoji, which only increased her embarrassment. Back in the meeting, officials shifted their attention toward Japan's response to Ryoji's growing influence. Discussion soon focused on the secret Furuya project, a government initiative created to monitor his activities. Reviewing the situation carefully, the American president concluded Ryoji's peaceful days would not last much longer. Back at school, the martial artist, who once mocked Ryoji, suddenly approached him with enthusiasm. Having advanced from Class E, he proudly introduced himself and claimed only weak students remained behind. Despite his boastful attitude, he admitted Ryoji possessed enough talent to become a valuable adventurer. Before leaving, the student challenged Ryoji to reach Class B, leaving him surprisingly motivated afterward. After hearing the challenge, Ryoji stood frozen for a moment, impressed by the student's confidence. Nearby classmates overheard everything and praised the exchange, leaving Ryoji deeply embarrassed by the attention. Upon returning to class, Sato greeted him cheerfully and explained his absence barely mattered. Seeing her usual enthusiasm again, Ryoji felt irritated yet recognized that Sato had not changed. Their conversation ended abruptly when Sato remembered a message summoning Ryoji to the director's office. Before leaving, Sato asked Ryoji to greet the homeroom teacher, though her praise sounded suspicious. Walking toward the director's office, Ryoji noticed someone stepping outside just as he approached. To his surprise, a beautiful blonde girl suddenly turned around and looked directly at him. For a brief moment, Linda froze in place after recognizing the boy she had researched extensively. Without exchanging a single word, Ryoji and Linda passed each other, while quietly observing one another. As they passed each other, Ryoji was struck by Linda's beauty and compared her to anime heroines. Moments later, he arrived at the director's office, unaware that an unexpected encounter awaited inside. Without warning, a frustrated assassin appeared and complained about being stuck at level 25. Before she could react further, Ryoji pinned the attacker down, despite lacking any visible job. Looking at the subdued assassin, Ryoji wondered whether someone like her could really be the director. After restraining the assassin, Ryoji learned she attacked only because Tanaka ordered her to test him. The confusion deepened when a laid-back man introduced himself as Iwaki and greeted Ryoji casually. Although the title sounded unbelievable, Iwaki revealed that he technically served as the academy director. Rather than discussing the incident immediately, Iwaki joked about his appearance before changing the subject. Just then, Kyoko entered the room and unknowingly confirmed Iwaki's position, surprising Ryoji further. After dismissing formalities, Iwaki admitted he preferred direct conversations and avoided complicated negotiations whenever possible. Without any warning, he revealed knowledge of Ryoji's secret identity as a hero from another world. Caught completely off guard, Ryoji struggled to hide his shock while questioning how Iwaki knew. To prove his claim, Iwaki produced a special device and requested permission to verify something. The scan revealed only level 1, yet the result immediately triggered suspicion instead of reassurance. Showing the scanner's result, Iwaki asked for trust, leaving Ryoji unsure how to respond. Instead of exposing him directly, Iwaki explained that engineering and observation led to his conclusion. Wanting a proper discussion, the director invited Ryoji to sit down and share experiences. As the conversation continued, Iwaki revealed he already knew about Ryoji's secret online activities. Learning the channel's purpose excited Iwaki greatly, while Ryoji quietly realized the director talked endlessly. Curiosity overwhelmed Iwaki once again, prompting questions about Ryoji's recording methods before another interruption arrived. After regaining focus, the director revealed an important topic concerning heroes who returned from other worlds. Turning serious at last, Iwaki explained that students would soon face a dangerous event, known as random shuffle time. The phenomenon caused powerful monsters to appear and massacre adventurers unexpectedly. Although treasure opportunities increased during these incidents, the risk of death rose dramatically for everyone. Hearing the explanation, Ryoji questioned why anyone would enter dungeons during such a dangerous period. Iwaki reacted with surprise, because Ryoji had already warned adventurers about random shuffle time through videos. From Ryoji's perspective, anyone ignoring repeated warnings and entering dungeons accepted the risks themselves. However, Iwaki explained that many elite students viewed the event as a chance for recognition. Ambition and reputation continued driving young adventurers toward life-threatening dangers during crises. Concluding their discussion, Ryoji prepared to leave, but Iwaki still seemed reluctant to let him go. Although Iwaki continued pressing the issue, Ryoji calmly rejected the request and refused to reconsider. Before departing, Iwaki casually asked about an upcoming event that appeared important to Ryoji. The question immediately caught his attention because the event featured merchandise from his favorite series. Excitement replaced his usual composure as Ryoji enthusiastically explained why attending the exhibition meant so much. Hearing Ryoji's explanation, Iwaki finally understood that the exhibition carried genuine personal importance for him. Even so, he suggested alternative ways to obtain merchandise, though Ryoji showed little interest. Realizing he had crossed a line, Iwaki apologized quickly, while Ryoji ended the conversation. Walking through the hallway afterward, Ryoji reflected on meeting another person who had returned from another world. Pushing those thoughts aside, he focused entirely on OneFest, treating the upcoming event like a battlefield. On the first day of random shuffle time, Tanaka confronted a dangerous monster deep inside Ueno Park Dungeon. Despite using powerful assassin skills, her attacks failed completely against the unexpectedly resilient creature before her. As desperation set in, Tanaka realized the monster remained far stronger than she anticipated. Just before disaster struck, Linda charged into battle and intercepted the monster's attack without hesitation. Relieved by the rescue, Tanaka thanked Linda while admiring the overwhelming skill she displayed. Grateful for the rescue, Tanaka praised Linda's kindness while insisting she personally contributed almost nothing. Their conversation ended when Tanaka noticed several students moving deeper inside, despite the dangerous situation. While checking injured students, Tanaka encountered another party and asked about the lower dungeon floors. Their answer revealed that floor 36 had already collapsed, causing several adventurers to retreat. The shocking report alarmed Tanaka, because the disturbance matched the signs of a dangerous outbreak. Meanwhile, the previous day, Ryoji looked forward to OneFest while enjoying a rare moment of peace. That calm ended abruptly when Tanaka appeared at his home with urgent news to deliver. Early the next morning, Tanaka arrived at Ryoji's house and apologized for visiting without notice. Before he could ask further questions, she unexpectedly informed him that OneFest had been cancelled. The announcement left Ryoji visibly shaken, forcing Tanaka to explain the situation in greater detail. According to Tanaka, the Prime Minister had personally approved emergency measures after receiving serious warnings. Their discussion then shifted toward Adventurer High School and the unusual speed of its establishment. From a resource standpoint, Tanaka admitted the government's decision made sense, despite expected public criticism. While she explained the political situation, Ryoji focused on counting down until the exhibition opened. Concerned about student safety, Tanaka urged Ryoji to help prevent unnecessary casualties during the crisis. She warned that a major disaster could damage the Prime Minister's reputation and threaten the school unmoved by her pressure. Ryoji calmly checked the time and continued waiting for OneFest. Mentioning several famous students, Tanaka expected interest, yet Ryoji remained focused on different priorities. Her surprise grew when he dismissed beautiful girls without hesitation and continued watching the clock. Rather than changing his stance, Ryoji reminded Tanaka that he had already warned adventurers repeatedly. When asked about a safe limit, he estimated most students could barely survive beyond floor 36. After learning the danger centered, Around floor 37, Tanaka finally decided to handle matters herself. After Tanaka left, Ryoji reconsidered the situation and admitted he might have acted somewhat immaturely. Meanwhile, on floor 37, adventurers encountered a powerful dragon that should not exist there. Despite the monster's terrifying speed, several students launched coordinated attacks and fought back. The dragon retaliated, sending multiple students flying and pushing their formation toward collapse. Combining their strength at the final moment, the group defeated the dragon and celebrated the hard-fought victory. After defeating the dragon, several students celebrated and dreamed about wealth, fame, and rare treasures. Listening, Ayano remained unconvinced and warned that random shuffle time remained dangerous. She reminded everyone that survival depended heavily on assistance from powerful allies during the battle. Other students agreed, admitting that Sanzanin's participation increased their chances of victory. Stepping forward, Wu Hanfa explained that she intervened only because the students faced real danger. Wu Hanfa explained that reckless decisions endangered everyone and damaged the reputation of Adventurer High School. Misunderstanding her intentions completely, several students assumed she cared little about their safety. Flustered by their reaction, Wu Hanfa quickly denied the accusation and tried correcting the misunderstanding. Meanwhile, Ayano struggled with the attention as classmates praised her and requested continued protection. Gathering her courage, Ayano finally spoke up and warned everyone that greater dangers still remained ahead. As attention shifted toward Ayano, students admired her status, strength, and noble family background. Embarrassed by the praise, Ayano struggled to handle the crowd while avoiding direct eye contact, trying to redirect the discussion. She reminded everyone that the special class had already proven itself. Several students agreed, pointing out that reaching this floor alone exceeded their original objective. Seizing the opportunity, Ayano asked how everyone planned to continue exploring the dangerous lower levels. Ignoring repeated warnings, one student insisted the dragon's defeat proved they could continue advancing safely. Several classmates agreed, believing deeper exploration offered fame and recognition within Adventurer High School despite objections. The group marched forward confidently and left Ayano and Hanfa behind. Watching them depart, Hanfa worried their reckless confidence would lead directly to disaster. After assessing their condition carefully, Ayano and Hanfa chose retreat, refusing to risk meaningless injuries. While retreating through the dungeon, Ayano and Hanfa worried about both their classmates and themselves. Remembering Kengo, Ayano recalled how he stayed behind to help rescue stranded adventurers. Although concerned for everyone, Hanfa insisted their first priority should be ensuring Fangshan returned safely. Ayano remembered her master's teachings, which emphasized protecting vulnerable people, rather than seeking personal glory. Unable to abandon those still in danger, Ayano apologized and decided to turn back alone. Determined not to leave Ayano behind, Hanfa ignored the danger and chose to return with her. Their concern faded briefly when Isabella suddenly appeared, drawing attention from both girls immediately. Introducing herself warmly, the world's strongest adventurer greeted them with a calm and friendly smile. After hearing the situation, Isabella learned several students had already descended toward floor 37 alone. Meanwhile, Tanaka activated her movement skill and rushed through the city toward her destination. Searching frantically through the crowded venue, Tanaka struggled to locate Ryoji before valuable time disappeared. At the same moment, she realized the students faced mortal danger if rescue arrived too late. Meanwhile, Ryoji happily secured a place in line and celebrated reaching his long-awaited destination. His excitement vanished instantly when Tanaka finally found him and called out his name desperately. Without wasting another second, Tanaka begged Ryoji to head toward Ueno Park Dungeon immediately. Faced with an impossible choice, Ryoji hesitated briefly while the exhibition line continued moving forward. Making his decision, he entrusted Tanaka with purchasing the limited figure and securing his place. Although confused by his priorities, Tanaka reluctantly accepted the responsibility and urged him to leave. After explaining everything to Yamada, Ryoji sprinted from the venue and headed toward the dungeon. Elsewhere, Isabella learned the students entered deeper floors alone and immediately rushed after them. Ayano recommends observing secretly because revealing themselves could encourage reckless behavior and place vulnerable students at risk. Isabella rejects stealth completely, insisting that rescuing endangered classmates requires direct action instead of hidden observation. On the 37th floor, the stranded students continue forward while discussing determination, experience, and survival. A terrifying monster appears before the group, causing several students to believe death is unavoidable. Realizing the situation has become critical, Isabella immediately rushes ahead and leads the rescue effort. Meanwhile, Ryoji notices the convention line moving slowly, unaware a deadly crisis unfolds elsewhere. Linda noticed Ryoji at school again, his hidden strength impressed her, lingering constantly in her thoughts. Pushing aside distractions, Linda hurried through the dungeon, determined to reach the 37th floor quickly. On the 36th floor, two special-class adventurers advanced cautiously, searching for a path forward elsewhere. Ryoji learned the special-class members were in danger, and rushed toward the venue. Reaching a restricted entrance, Ryoji ignored the confusion around him and prepared to intervene. Ryoji slipped past the restricted entrance. When staff checked the area, he had already vanished. Inside Ueno Park Dungeon, injured adventurers crowded the floor, desperately waiting for treatment and rescue. Using stealth magic, Ryoji observed the scene. Despite his warnings, many ignored dungeon dangers. He hurried toward the 37th floor, refusing to waste time helping reckless adventurers individually. Noticing their injuries were manageable, Ryoji prepared healing magic before continuing toward his destination. Ryoji cast extra heal across the area, instantly easing pain and closing countless adventurers' wounds. The injured crowd was shocked, while Ken Takeshi criticized them for reckless greed and mistakes. As recovery spread, desperate adventurers surrounded Ken, demanding treatment for their remaining injuries. Ignoring the noise, Ken organized the wounded and continued healing those in critical condition. Trusting Ken to manage the survivors, Ryoji left immediately and resumed his urgent mission. On the 37th floor, adventurers were shocked when a baby dragon suddenly appeared before them. The special monster towered over the group, far stronger than anything expected on that floor. Realizing his guidance caused this situation, their leader blamed himself for bringing everyone there. Determined to protect the others, he prepared to sacrifice himself so the group could escape, refusing to abandon their companion. The special class members united and readied themselves for battle. The group's leader attacked first, but the baby dragon countered, severing her arm and shocking everyone. Standing before the monster, she realized the baby dragon possessed overwhelming strength far beyond their expectations. Believing escape was impossible, she accepted death and faced the dragon while protecting her companions. Ayano Zenin arrived and unleashed Iceberg, freezing the baby dragon before it could strike again. Saved from certain death, the wounded leader thanked Ayano, while another ally rushed forward to assist. The leader unleashed a powerful kick, but the massive explosion failed to inflict meaningful damage whatsoever. As the baby dragon prepared a breath attack, Linda rushed forward and blocked its advance. Another adventurer launched a sword technique, driving the monster backward and slamming it against a wall. A priestess cast Goddess Embrace, strengthening her allies, while observing that the monster remained unharmed. Linda warned the group to evacuate, explaining her strongest support spell consumed enormous resources. Sanzanin continued casting extra heal on injured adventurers while discussing plans to protect everyone nearby. The group ordered survivors toward the surface, knowing they could not delay the baby dragon. Noticing Sanzanin's exhausted condition, Linda offered her last MP potion and encouraged her recovery. Sanzanin gratefully accepted the potion, while Isabella teased her about struggling with simple exchanges. Embarrassed by her awkward behavior, Linda apologized sincerely and worried she had acted improperly. Ryoji searched for the dungeon core before advancing, but discovered it had disappeared from the first floor. Without wasting time, Ryoji abandoned the search and rushed toward the 37th floor. On the 37th floor, the baby dragon endured repeated attacks while the group struggled. The monster accelerated, breaking through defenses and sending Linda and Isabella crashing across the chamber. Realizing the dragon targeted key defenders first, Isabella concluded its speed exceeded their ability to react. The baby dragon vanished from sight, forcing Ayano, Linda, and Isabella to search for its location. As Ayano carried Linda away, the dragon unleashed a devastating breath attack across the battlefield. Ayano activated Great Sage Blessing, creating a powerful barrier that blocked the dragon's attack completely. While maintaining the barrier, Ayano prepared a dangerous technique, and Isabella urged everyone to escape. Realizing removing the barrier meant certain death, Ayano rejected the plan and protected everyone instead. Ayano unleashed Iceberg once more, covering the battlefield with massive ice formations and forcing retreat. The baby dragon remained unharmed despite the attack, proving its durability exceeded everyone's expectations again. Linda, Ayano, and Isabella watched nervously as the spell ended, realizing disaster had nearly struck. Ryoji finally arrived wearing a helmet disguise, relieved he reached the battlefield before matters worsened. Recognizing the famous Dungeon Exploration Information Channel creator, the exhausted girls turned toward Ryoji. Ryoji approached the exhausted girls, then opened his item box and searched for spare equipment. After finding unused adventurer cloaks, Ryoji prepared 3 sets and tossed them toward the group. Embarrassed by their damaged clothing, Linda, Ayano, and Isabella accepted the cloaks without argument. Turning toward the baby dragon, Ryoji reflected on how the disastrous day had ruined everything. Ryoji unleashed a powerful magic attack, creating a massive explosion that shook the entire floor. After witnessing the attack, Linda, Ayano, and Isabella praised Ryoji's strength, while sensing his irritation. After confirming the girls wore the cloaks, Ryoji checked their condition while keeping his identity hidden. Seeing their exhaustion, Ryoji offered healing assistance, surprising Linda, Ayano, and Isabella immediately afterward. Ryoji gathered magical energy, hoping his calculation would provide enough power for all three. He cast extra heal across the group, surrounding the girls with brilliant restorative magic. The girls recovered instantly and stared in amazement, witnessing healing magic far beyond normal standards. Linda thanked Dungeon Exploration Information Channel-san sincerely, admitting she could never repay his life-saving help. Ryoji rejected their gratitude, explaining he intervened voluntarily and never expected anything in return. Ayano nervously thanked Ryoji as silence filled the battlefield, leaving everyone unsure what followed. Ryoji explained Tanaka's sacrifice, revealing he learned the situation while passing injured adventurers below. After discussing the battle, Ryoji announced the monster materials would be divided equally among everyone. Linda and Isabella refused the rewards, insisting Ryoji deserved everything after saving their lives. Ryoji disagreed and explained that everyone present had contributed, making a fair distribution necessary. While collecting materials, Ryoji questioned another adventurer about sharing rewards with previously uninvolved survivors. The adventurer explained that equal distribution prevented future disputes and accusations over stolen monster rewards. After hearing the explanation, Ryoji understood and reflected that people often caused greater problems than monsters. Ryoji explained that unwanted monster materials would disappear within 24 hours if nobody collected them. Isabella immediately requested a share, declaring that anything received from DTJC would become precious. Speaking for herself and Ayano, Isabella insisted they would treasure the rewards as lasting mementos. Linda reflected on her admiration for Dungeon Exploration Information Channel and regretted maintaining excessive distance. Gathering her courage, Linda requested a reward too, hoping to preserve memories from today's adventure. Ryoji finally understood their request, realizing the girls were devoted viewers of his channel. Speaking with fans other than Kijima-sensei for the first time, Ryoji felt unexpectedly nervous and overwhelmed. After offering 4 reward shares, Ryoji watched the girls celebrate while appreciating their genuine happiness. Isabella asked Ayano to store her share, but Ayano discovered her item box refused. After checking the problem, Ayano explained her item box was completely full from random collections. Ayano admitted her item box problem, and Ryoji revealed he organized items exactly the same way. Countess Greenwich offered to safeguard both reward shares, earning grateful reactions from Ayano and Isabella. While observing Linda, Ryoji remembered seeing her before and compared her presence to an anime heroine. Isabella noticed Ryoji spoke naturally outside videos, revealing his awkward habits appeared surprisingly consistent. Embarrassed by the observation, Ryoji listened as Isabella explained his famous verbal stumbles-inspired trends. Ryoji recalled his warning video, wondering why townspeople ignored repeated cautions against reckless dungeon exploration. Ayano questioned their behavior too, noting nearly everyone watched the video before entering anyway. Anoka nervously interrupted, revealing the principal and vice-principal encouraged students toward dangerous dungeon challenges. Shocked by the revelation, Ayano and Isabella demanded details because neither attended that meeting. During class, administrators dismissed ordinary risks and urged elite students toward exceptional achievements and rankings. The principal framed dungeon exploration as a proving ground, challenging elite students to demonstrate superiority publicly. He promised rare rewards and academic benefits, encouraging competition while downplaying serious dangers involved. Ayano realized the vice principal fueled Class A's enthusiasm, pushing students toward reckless participation earlier. Honoka explained she overheard conversations only, while Ayano seemed shocked by that information entirely. Ryoji quietly wondered about Ayano's identity, sensing an unusual familiarity he could not explain. Ayano suggested political factions caused tensions, prompting Isabella to question growing hostility between student groups. Honoka revealed influential government connections, explaining how school leaders represented competing ministries with interests. Ayano struggled accepting such manipulation, believing authorities would never endanger students for political advantage. Ryoji explained power struggles persist during disasters, noting leaders often prioritize influence over safety. He thanked them for sharing information, relieved his warnings discouraged some adventurers from entering. Ryoji thanked them for saving him, warning reckless actions could endanger countless students and futures. Isabella and Ayano accepted his advice, promising greater caution during dangerous dungeon expeditions ahead. He explained modern society values levels heavily, where strength often determines justice and influence. Ryoji urged them never risking their lives unnecessarily, believing effort should not end tragically. He praised their growth sincerely, noting advanced classes demand dedication, discipline, persistence, and courage. Ayano wondered how DTJC identified their classes, suspecting information from rankings or mutual acquaintances. Ryoji explained equipment, revealed occupations easily, while names and levels confirmed his conclusions afterward. The girls froze from embarrassment instantly, realizing their damaged outfits exposed important details unintentionally. An awkward silence followed his explanation, leaving Ryoji confused about their strange reactions afterward. Unable handling the tension anymore, he announced departure plans while questioning his conversation skills. The girls misunderstood his farewell completely, promising reunion plans while Anoka watched awkwardly behind. Ryoji vanished through escape magic immediately, regretting his wording and feeling deeply embarrassed afterward. Back home, he obsessed over the encounter, considering it an unforgettable social disaster forever. Tanaka visited later complaining about merchandise shortages, then laughed uncontrollably after hearing everything explained. Ryoji spent convention days with Yamada, enjoying shopping conversations and successful loot sales. During a cafe conversation, Yamada shared outrageous stories, including reincarnating as a villain. Yamada accepted Ryoji's explanation without hesitation, proving his trusting nature and dependable friendship. The convention concluded peacefully, while the random shuffle time event ended simultaneously elsewhere too. Students entering the dungeon during random shuffle time received punishments, while administrators faced disciplinary actions. During suspension, Ryoji relaxed at home, spending time reading manga and watching anime. 1 week later, Wu practiced controlling her magical prosthetic arm, adapting to unfamiliar movements. Ayano approached Wu at school, noticing immediately that her missing arm remained unrecovered. Wu thanked Ayano sincerely, admitting their intervention during random shuffle time saved everyone. Ayano reminded Wu that DTJC deserved gratitude, since his arrival prevented far greater casualties. Ken defended Wu immediately, explaining she prioritized wounded classmates and refused treatment before others. Ken understood her feelings, recognizing guilt drove her actions more than concern for injuries. Wu admitted Ken's assessment was correct, though accepting that truth remained difficult emotionally. Determined despite everything, Wu left the classroom afterward, intending to continue dungeon training. Ken tells Ayano that Wu was removed from her party and is heading into the dungeon. Ayano calls out for Wu to wait. Wu continues walking alone, looking dejected and isolated. Ayano suggests to go together. Wu agrees, and the three head off as a new party. Back home, DTJC wonders why he was assigned to the lower-ranked class. DTJC realizes he should contact assassin Tanaka. He decides to call in the favor Tanaka owes him. DTJC contacted Furia questioned the system used to determine adventurers' high school class placements. Furia explained grades depended on academics, dungeon achievements, and profits earned from selling collected materials. After comparing that explanation with his records, DTJC suspected something was wrong with his evaluation. To investigate further, DTJC visited Kijima Tax Accounting Office and requested information about the school. The accountant revealed Iwaki Industries funded the school while supporting its educational mission and operations. The accountant confirmed Adventurers High School genuinely followed its mission of nurturing future adventurers without hidden motives. She explained Iwaki Industries produced affordable equipment, prioritized quality over profits, and followed legal standards. After hearing those details, DTJC concluded the director appeared trustworthy and dedicated to education. DTJC shifted his suspicion toward the principal and others, while admiring the accountant's research abilities. The accountant revealed Iwaki Industries dominated magic stone processing, while the director possessed engineering knowledge. After finishing his investigation, DTJC thanked Kojima-sensei, praised her reliability, and left with greater confidence. The story shifted back to school, where Princess complained about unfair class promotions and rankings. Princess argued her group achieved better sales results, yet remained behind students promoted into Class A. Another student suggested the promoted group's leader came from an influential family with strong connections. Hearing that explanation, Princess became convinced favoritism existed and felt her hard work lacked recognition. Princess noticed Ryoji's unfamiliar uniform, questioned his class placement, and reacted strongly to his appearance. When Ryoji revealed he belonged to Class E, Princess became shocked and demanded an explanation. Princess's classmates dragged her away, while Ryoji noticed her behavior had changed since before. Soon afterward, Furuya approached Ryoji at school and formally addressed the famous assassin Tanaka. Furuya informed Ryoji that the principal wished to thank him and requested a meeting. While walking with Furuya, Ryoji learned she had reached level 26 and continued improving steadily. Nearby students noticed Furuya beside Ryoji, causing confusion because assassin Tanaka rarely associated publicly. Furuya became shocked after realizing Ryoji had connections with important school officials, despite his background. Inside the director's office, the grateful principal thanked Furuya and offered a reward for assistance. When offered a reward, Ryoji jokingly requested returning to his first day, confusing everyone completely. After rejecting a class transfer request, Ryoji listened as the director searched for another suitable reward. The director offered special glasses displaying levels and jobs, presenting a valuable government prototype instead. Ryoji accepted the glasses immediately and discovered they revealed information hidden from ordinary observation. Using the device, Ryoji noticed Furuya's level, while the principal warned about revealing company secrets. The director explained Ryoji's placement in a class resulted from falsified grades and deliberate manipulation. Ryoji learned officials had inflated privileged students' achievements by using sales records connected to his materials. Determined to correct the situation, Iwaki contacted national leaders and prepared immediate dismissals afterward. Furuya requested permission to join, and Iwaki agreed because he owed both students gratitude. While heading toward the principal's office, Ryoji worried when everyone repeatedly reassured Furuya unnecessarily. Inside the office, Iwaki directly demanded the principal and vice principal resign for misconduct that day. When confronted with dismissal, the principal mocked Iwaki and questioned whether he could enforce punishment. The principal claimed powerful ministries supported him, believing political connections would protect his position completely. Iwaki recognized the threat immediately, while the principal openly laughed and dismissed possible consequences. Before tensions escalated further, Ryoji interrupted the meeting and requested permission to speak honestly. Activating his hypnosis skill, Ryoji demanded complete honesty, preparing everyone for a revealing discussion. Under hypnosis, the principal and vice principal lost resistance as Ryoji questioned their true intentions. The principal revealed the school existed to create obedient workers serving powerful elites and interests. Shocked by the confession, Iwaki and Furuya learned adventurers were considered disposable resources instead. The principal admitted manipulating public opinion through media influence while hiding his real beliefs. He further confessed that outstanding upper-class graduates increased profits, while lower-class students remained exploited. Iwaki questioned the principal's plan, realizing adventurers were treated as cheap resources for profit. Under hypnosis, the principal admitted managing adventurers required understanding them as expendable laborers. Ryoji ordered both officials to explore dungeons, resign immediately, and prepare proper equipment beforehand. Before leaving, Ryoji instructed them to restore every altered record and correct the falsified data. Although uninterested in social classes, Ryoji remained determined to recover the achievements stolen from him. Inside the dungeon, the principal and vice principal struggled against weak slimes and quickly became overwhelmed. Terrified by the approaching monsters, both men panicked completely and feared dying inside the dungeon. Kenaya and another adventurer arrived immediately, healing injuries and defeating the surrounding slimes. After being rescued, the exhausted officials realized their ordinary equipment was completely unsuitable for combat. Ashamed and grateful, they thanked their rescuers, while Ken criticized their reckless actions harshly. News reports revealed the former principal and vice principal were hospitalized after entering the dungeon recklessly later. Iwaki learned both officials resigned, though their memories surrounding recent events remained unclear. Ryoji visited Kyoko's to return the manga he had borrowed from her earlier. Kyoko's aunt thanked Ryoji for coming, and revealed that Kyoko had stopped meeting other people recently. After hearing the explanation, Ryoji felt the situation belonged to Kyoko alone and prepared to leave. Before Ryoji departed, Kyoko's aunt apologized for the trouble and asked him to remain her friend. Reflecting on their friendship, Ryoji changed his mind and decided not to distance himself from Kyoko back at home. Ryoji discussed Kyoko with his companion and struggled to understand her attitude. While resting on his bed, Ryoji recalled how Kyoko once dreamed of adventure, despite lacking talent. Ryoji remembered Kyoko's behavior becoming unusual after discovering that she possessed the rare adventurer trait. His companion explained that some people lost their sanity after awakening the trait in another world. Comparing those cases with Kyoko's situation, Ryoji began suspecting a deeper problem behind her isolation. Ryoji learned that adventurers gained overwhelming power through levels and skills, causing some to develop dangerous arrogance. Although Kyoko had changed, Ryoji doubted she would reach the extreme cases described before. The robot explained that similar incidents had already appeared, including adventurers attacking ordinary people. Hearing those reports, Ryoji realized the situation resembled player killing and harassment seen in online games. Remembering another world, Ryoji recalled how adventurers gathered resources for society and received special recognition. Ryoji recalled that adventurers who abused their power faced severe punishment because society depended on strict order. Finishing his thoughts, Ryoji remembered a dungeon where local adventurers had reported frequent robbery incidents. While exploring deeper floors, several adventurers warned each other that criminals had been targeting valuable loot. Nearby, Ryoji overheard a heated confrontation as a robber refused demands and threatened his victim. The criminal mocked an injured woman, but her reaction suggested the encounter would not end. Hearing a woman in danger, two adventurers approached and realized a robbery was taking place. Ignoring the risk, one adventurer stepped forward and demanded that the masked criminals release their victim. The robbers mocked his courage, dismissed him as powerless, and ordered everyone to surrender their loot. When he refused, the gang attacked, beating several people while stealing the hard-earned materials. After taking the loot, the criminals laughed at their victims and warned others not to resist. After the robbers left, the injured adventurers stood up and checked whether the woman remained safe. The rescued woman thanked, while his companion confirmed that nobody suffered serious injuries. Misunderstanding the situation, the woman dismissed the older adventurer, causing confusion among the exhausted group. Once the misunderstanding ended, everyone agreed to return home, relieved that the encounter caused limited harm. While leaving the dungeon, the woman remained furious about the robbers and questioned the authorities' response. The bespectacled adventurer explained that ordinary people without adventurer traits could not challenge powerful criminals. He revealed that robbers targeted the first floor because experienced adventurers quickly moved deeper inside. His companion added that staying near the dungeon entrance reduced danger and avoided encounters with those gangs. The woman complained that crowded entrance areas offered poor rewards, leaving few opportunities to earn money. Despite her frustration, the bespectacled adventurer felt relieved after confirming that the woman remained unharmed. Still thinking about the robbery, the young adventurer wondered about the mysterious man who had helped him. The next day at school, Sarah noticed Ryoji approaching and recognized him from before. Ryoji met Vice Principal Tanaka, who explained that the director had assigned a special matter. Tanaka informed Ryoji that he would join the special class after administrative procedures were completed. Remembering Kyoko's situation, Ryoji asked whether she could transfer from Class B to Class A. Tanaka could not discuss Kyoko's records, but she admitted transferring into Class A seemed difficult. Changing subjects, Tanaka revealed that the chairman wanted to purchase large quantities of medicinal moss. After hearing the request, Ryoji showed his enormous stockpile and surprised Tanaka beyond expectation. Ryoji explained that his stored medicinal moss could produce millions of potions, not merely thousands. Staring at the mountain of supplies, Tanaka questioned whether Ryoji secretly collected medicinal moss obsessively. Ryoji agreed to provide medicinal moss, believing affordable potions would benefit struggling adventurers across society. After confirming, Tanaka accepted Ryoji's cooperation and forwarded the transaction details for processing. Arriving at Class 1E, Ryoji encountered a cheerful student who introduced herself with confidence. The classroom erupted with jokes about Ryoji's lack of a job class, treating him as entertainment. Growing tired of the noise, Ryoji activated hypnosis and instantly forced the entire class into silence. Using hypnosis, Ryoji questioned the class and pointed out that nobody had gained levels for months. Zone student feared dungeon dangers, while another preferred entertainment at home instead of leveling up. When Ryoji questioned their teacher, she admitted that reaching level 2 already seemed sufficient. Ryoji then asked who had taken belongings from ordinary people, and every student raised a hand. Realizing the class lacked discipline and ambition, Ryoji prepared himself to address their deeper problems. Ryoji activated a rare item capable of stripping adventurer traits from weaker targets. Before leaving, Ryoji promised to restore their traits once they became responsible adventurers and better people. Meanwhile, the robbers continued exploring Ueno Park Dungeon, unaware that Ryoji had already targeted them. Suddenly, the criminals felt weak as their levels vanished, leaving them confused and panicked. As confusion spread through the group, they realized losing their adventurer traits placed them in serious danger. Fearing nearby monsters, the criminals abandoned their plans and rushed desperately toward the dungeon exit. Watching from afar, Ryoji felt satisfied, believing those criminals deserved the punishment they received. Although Ryoji rejected the title of hero, he remained determined to protect the peaceful world. Ryoji Furuya learned that a first-year student had lost an adventurer trait, making the unusual incident appear suspicious from the start. After hearing the accusation, Ryoji considered whether someone had intentionally stolen the trait, though he struggled to accept that possibility. The robot explained that ignoring the case would spread damage further, harming adventurers and causing greater distrust throughout society. Understanding the seriousness, Ryoji changed his schedule and prepared to travel across the country, searching for trait thieves. With his decision made, Ryoji accepted the mission and began investigating the mystery, determined to recover stolen traits. Ryoji Furuya began visiting dungeons across the country, tracking trait thieves while recording content to support DTJC's growing influence. To discourage crimes, Ryoji created a warning video explaining that robbers could lose their adventurer traits after being caught. After recording another take, Ryoji realized the message could convince people that missing traits vanished through natural causes. Although the thieves were guilty, Ryoji felt uneasy because producing a cover story made his actions seem questionable. Hearing Ryoji's concerns, the robot suggested returning the stolen traits instead, preventing misunderstandings and avoiding unnecessary public deception. Proto told Ryoji Furuya that his happiness mattered more than the world, encouraging him to follow his own feelings. Moved by Proto's support, Ryoji decided to leave for a while, trusting the robot to handle the video. Before departing, Ryoji thanked Proto and promised to continue trying his best, determined to push forward a little longer. Later, Ryoji met director office staff who thanked him for the medicinal moss before discussing a growing problem. The officials explained that adventurers were becoming thieves, warning that public trust would collapse unless decisive action occurred soon. Ryoji suggested recruiting strong adventurers to patrol dungeon entrances, since security cameras were impossible and high-level adventurers remained occupied. After considering the proposal, the official decided to gather volunteers through government support and reward programs. For participants, the official requested Ryoji announce the plan publicly. Relieved, Ryoji believed the system could inspire other countries. Just as the meeting seemed finished, the official suddenly asked whether Ryoji knew anything about the missing traits. Caught off guard, Ryoji avoided revealing the truth. The official accepted his explanation and promised continued cooperation ahead. After finishing the discussion, Ryoji left the office. He admired Iwaki's reliability and trusted him to manage matters. Meanwhile, Kunimi visited the Ueno Park dungeon office, searching for better equipment after relying on worn clothing for months. While checking new outfits, Kunimi was shocked by the prices and worried her limited savings would disappear quickly. After changing clothes, Kunimi reunited with her party members, who reminded her that traveling alone remained dangerous. The group praised Kunimi's new appearance before heading toward the hunting grounds, eager to begin another dungeon expedition. After preparing their equipment, Kunimi and her party entered the dungeon together, ready to spend the day hunting slimes. Following their usual formation, Kunimi remained behind the front line, while her teammates attracted monster attacks and protected her. When the expedition ended, one teammate apologized to Tira for becoming distant during their recent adventures together. Tira accepted the apology calmly as the group discussed adventuring careers and crossed the city after leaving the dungeon. Tira explained that adventurers faced constant danger because ordinary people lacked special abilities and could never earn safely. While walking through the city, Tira complained about the unfair gap between ordinary adventurers and those blessed with abilities. As the conversation continued, Tira expressed frustration toward criminals who abused their powers while hardworking adventurers struggled daily. Thinking about the situation, Tira felt discouraged, believing the world rewarded luck, while many honest people remained disadvantaged. The group discussed whether adventurer traits should belong only to a select few, debating the issue during their walk. Still wishing for an adventurer trait, Tira continued talking with her friends, until something suddenly caught her attention nearby. The strange woman asked whether they truly desired adventurer traits, leaving everyone confused by her sudden appearance and behavior. When Tara eagerly admitted her interest, the old woman claimed adventurer traits could help people level up faster. The woman then offered an adventurer trait for 100,000 yen, causing the entire group to become suspicious. A few hours earlier, Hanfa and Ayano discussed Ryoji's video at school, wondering whether missing adventurer traits truly disappeared forever. Ayano reassured Hanfa that innocent people had nothing to fear, since the video targeted individuals who harmed others. Still curious, Hanfa questioned what happened to vanished traits, while Ayano hoped they had disappeared permanently from society. Ayano suggested the traits might not be gone at all and could simply reappear somewhere else under unknown circumstances. Back in the present, the hooded woman approached Tira's group, again, insisting her suspicious offer came from good intentions. Tira and her friends admitted the low price seemed suspicious, explaining that an adventurer trait should be worth far more. The hooded woman calmly agreed, claiming 100,000 yen looked cheap enough to resemble an obvious scam. She then asked whether they could afford an adventurer trait if the price reached 100 million yen instead. Although everyone believed adventurer traits held enormous value, none of them possessed enough money to purchase one. The woman revealed that profit was not her goal, insisting she distributed adventurer traits to hardworking and motivated people. The group's suspicion deepened when the hooded woman claimed adventurer traits required effort, making free distribution completely meaningless. Defending her position, the woman argued that people rarely value gifts obtained without sacrifice, commitment, or personal investment. Although unconvinced, one member admitted he wanted adventurer traits used responsibly. The woman then offered 5 seconds to decide. As the countdown began, Tira's friends dismissed the proposal as a scam, insisting adventurer traits could not be traded. However, one member hesitated and recalled how unbelievable dungeons once seemed, making the woman's story slightly harder to reject. As the countdown continued, Tira carefully weighed the risks, deciding that being deceived would anger her less than regret. After thinking further, Tira admitted she would feel worse if the old woman proved genuine, and she refused. The countdown reached 3, increasing the pressure. Meanwhile, Tira's group struggled to reach a decision before time expired. Most of the group still believed the offer was fraudulent, arguing that 100,000 yen remained valuable. Just before the countdown ended, the group's leader shocked everyone by deciding to purchase the adventurer trait himself. After deciding to buy the adventurer trait, Kunimi's leader left to withdraw money, while Tira remained with the hooded woman. Left alone together, Tira struggled through an awkward silence as the woman questioned her and observed her reactions. Tira admitted she had already spent her savings on equipment, leaving her unable to afford the offered trait. While waiting, Tira reflected on her hardships, including betrayal, misfortune, and losing someone important before her eyes. Questioning the world's fairness, Tira asked why suffering existed. The hooded woman responded with a mysterious answer about gods. After hearing Tira's painful experiences, the hooded woman realized her story carried far more hardship than she expected. The woman revealed that she also suffered terrible misfortune, including losing her parents after returning from another world. Despite her hardships, the woman encouraged Tira to keep moving forward, believing effort would eventually bring better opportunities. At that moment, Tira's companions returned with 300,000 yen, enough to purchase adventurer traits for everyone. Surprised by their generosity, Tira learned the money came from emergency party funds withdrawn after hearing about her situation. Tira was shocked when she learned her companions used precious party savings, despite her having joined the group recently. Although embarrassed by the risk, Tira realized her teammates trusted her enough to share responsibility for the decision. Moved by their support, Tira struggled to hide her emotions while quietly appreciating the kindness shown by her friends. After accepting the payment, the hooded woman activated a mysterious blessing surrounding the group with brilliant light. When the light faded, marks appeared on their hands. Tira became a mage, while her companions gained new classes. After receiving their new classes, the group examined their marks carefully, wondering whether the strange blessing was genuine. As doubts remained, they considered whether the marks could be hypnosis. However, the visible class information seemed authentic. Tira quickly remembered magical knowledge from her new class, and almost tested a spell before being stopped. Before leaving, the hooded woman warned them to treasure their adventurer traits, and keep her existence completely secret. Moments later, the mysterious woman vanished without a trace. Shocked, the group questioned whether she truly served the gods. After returning home, Ryoji informed Proto that all adventurer traits had been sold and the collected money was secured. Rather than keeping the earnings, Ryoji requested that the entire amount be donated anonymously to support general adventurers. While discussing the day's events, Proto mentioned the mysterious Lunameria blessing, a name Ryoji recognized immediately. Ryoji explained that Lunameria's name had become a special magic. The spell only worked for those without malice. Just as the conversation ended, Ryoji remembered he had forgotten to record his favorite anime and rushed away. At Adventurer High School, Ryoji Furuya inspected Supply Warehouse C. After confirming 100,000 herbs, he reviewed payment arrangements. While leaving the warehouse, Ryoji appeared troubled. A school official noticed his mood and asked about his concerns. Ryoji recalled missing classmates and wondered whether students could remain enrolled after suddenly losing their adventurer traits. The official explained that trait disappearance had already been reported. Students who committed no wrongdoing would not be expelled. Later, the school announced curriculum changes. Students without adventurer traits would continue training as regular adventurers under adjusted programs. Ryoji learned that every Class E student had left school voluntarily after the dungeon incident. Even their homeroom teacher resigned. Thinking carefully, Ryoji realized the students probably feared being associated with the dungeon victims and criminal activities. After confirming the herb payment was completed, Ryoji felt relieved. The director appreciated his support and cooperation. As Ryoji prepared to leave, the staff member suddenly remembered important news regarding his academic placement. The staff member congratulated Ryoji, having earned recognition through his achievements. He was promoted to the special class. Ryoji smiled after hearing the announcement. Becoming a special class student was expected, but the result still pleased him. The staff member watched Ryoji leave. Knowing his past as a hero from another world, she felt happy. After returning home, Ryoji informed Proto about his promotion. Despite the achievement, he preferred avoiding attention and trouble. Proto immediately congratulated Ryoji. The loyal companion felt proud whenever his master received recognition for his accomplishments. Thanking Proto, Ryoji relaxed and enjoyed the moment. With recent problems resolved, he expected a good day ahead. While relaxing at home, Ryoji received an urgent call from Kyoko. Her panic immediately made him worry. Kyoko tearfully explained that her mother had suddenly collapsed. Unsure what to do, she desperately sought help. Hearing the situation, Ryoji calmed her and promised to come immediately. He ended the call without hesitation, using teleportation and invisibility magic. Ryoji left his house instantly. Within moments he arrived near Kyoko's home. After entering the house, Ryoji met Kyoko and her aunt. Ignoring explanations, he rushed toward her mother. Ryoji examined Kyoko's mother and discovered her heart had stopped beating. The situation was far more serious than expected. After learning ordinary potions failed, Ryoji immediately used a high-grade elixir. He believed it could still save her. The elixir worked successfully, and Kyoko's mother regained consciousness. Relieved, Kyoko thanked Ryoji while he investigated further. When questioned about the cause, Kyoko admitted she became annoyed during an argument and told her mother to be quiet. Ryoji quickly understood the danger. Kyoko's uncontrolled killing intent had affected an ordinary person despite her low level. Ryoji sternly warned Kyoko that uncontrolled killing intent was dangerous. Without restraint, she could accidentally kill innocent people. Kyoko denied responsibility and insisted her mother collapsed naturally. Ryoji immediately rejected her excuses and criticized her immaturity. As Kyoko argued back, Ryoji felt unusually cold toward her behavior. The reaction surprised even him. Kyoko continued protesting, but Ryoji barely listened. He sensed traces of killing intent despite her repeated denials. While Kyoko kept talking, Ryoji quietly observed her. The more she argued, the more suspicious she appeared. After leaving Kyoko's house, Ryoji decided their relationship had ended. Her actions disappointed him and shattered the trust he retained. While walking through quiet streets, Ryoji reflected on recent events. Seeking peace of mind, he headed toward Ueno Park Dungeon. Inside the dungeon, Ryoji sat above the battlefield and watched roaming monsters. Compared with human problems, they seemed harmless. As he observed the creatures, Ryoji wondered about his hidden killing intent. He questioned what would happen if released. The instant his killing intent leaked outward, monsters across the entire floor died. Ryoji stared in shock afterward. After witnessing the consequences inside the dungeon, Ryoji reminded himself to control his killing intent and stop worrying about Kyoko. On the next school day, Ryoji visited the principal's office. Tanaka greeted him but hurried away because of urgent duties. Before leaving, Tanaka handed Ryoji a special keycard. The card granted access to facilities reserved for special class students. After thanking Tanaka, Ryoji walked through the school alone. Soon, he arrived before a secure entrance corridor. Curious about the advanced security system, Ryoji pressed the keycard against the door and examined its magical mechanism. Ryoji followed the instructions and scanned his new keycard. Despite several attempts, the security door refused to open. While he struggled with the entrance, a female special class student approached. Noticing the problem, she offered assistance. After checking the card, the girl discovered it had not been registered. She also recognized Ryoji immediately. When Ryoji mentioned Principal Tanaka's instructions, the girl's expression changed at once. His name seemed familiar to her. Recovering from her surprise, the girl smiled and volunteered to explain everything. Ryoji listened with growing curiosity. The special class student taught Ryoji how the keycard worked. After registering his magic power, the security door opened. As they walked together, the girl mentioned returning a cloak later. Ryoji thanked her politely for the assistance. When Ryoji declined the offer, the girl suddenly remembered something important. Her cheerful expression changed with excitement. The girl tearfully thanked Ryoji for saving her life during a past incident. Ryoji stood frozen with confusion, completely bewildered. Ryoji denied knowing anything about the event. He insisted she had mistaken him for someone else. The girl promised to keep Ryoji's secret. However, she warned that Ayano and Isabella might recognize his voice later. Ryoji suddenly realized his mistake. Distracted by recent events, he had forgotten to disguise his voice as usual. Entering the special class area, Ryoji noticed many attractive students. Before he could settle in, another student approached. The student introduced himself as Ken Takeshi, a highly ranked adventurer. He explained that special class gathered elite talents. Ken questioned Ryoji's qualifications and suspected favoritism from Principal Tanaka. Ryoji answered calmly, revealing he remained level 1. The girl attempted to stop the argument, but Ken ignored her completely. He considered the matter strictly personal. Ryoji explained that his placement came from skill rather than favoritism. Unsatisfied, Ken demanded proof through direct comparison. Instead of proposing a duel, Ken requested something unexpected. He wanted Ryoji to unleash his killing intent first. Ken continued provoking Ryoji and demanded proof. Certain of his own strength, he mocked Ryoji for hesitating repeatedly. Unimpressed by the challenge, Ryoji pointed out that his promotion came from the school's judgment, not Ken's approval. Ken stared at Ryoji with disbelief. He could not accept that someone with such confidence remained only level 1, refusing to back down. Ken accused Ryoji of avoiding difficult situations. He insisted that retreat would become a habit. Ken mocked Ryoji's appearance and dungeon experience. Amused rather than offended, Ryoji responded with a dangerous smile. Ken continued insulting Ryoji and mocked his hobbies. His words finally tested the patience Ryoji had maintained throughout. The tense atmosphere spread across the classroom. Other students noticed the confrontation and watched carefully from a distance. Ryoji accepted the challenge with a smile. He warned Ken not to complain about the consequences afterward. Certain of his own resistance, Ken dismissed the warning. He believed Ryoji lacked enough killing intent to threaten him. After receiving Ken's approval, Ryoji prepared himself. He decided to release only the weakest portion of his killing intent. Ken continued mocking Ryoji and boasted about his situation. His arrogance convinced Ryoji that words alone would change nothing. Annoyed by Ken's assumptions, Ryoji reflected on his preferences. Compared with reality, he still preferred anime heroines without hesitation. Ryoji released the weakest trace of killing intent. The classroom atmosphere changed instantly as an overwhelming pressure filled the room. For a brief moment, Ken glimpsed death itself. His body stiffened, sweat appeared, and confidence vanished from his face. While Ken struggled to remain standing, nearby students felt sick. Ryoji prepared to release the next level instead. Ken continued lecturing Ryoji about courage and perseverance. His words irritated Ryoji, who had survived far greater trials. Unable to tolerate the accusation, Ryoji reminded Ken that defeating a demon king required facing dangers beyond imagination. The statement, combined with lingering killing intent, crushed Ken's confidence. Sweating heavily, he hurried to acknowledge Ryoji's ability. Ryoji rejected the surrender immediately. Repeating Ken's own advice, he insisted that quitting early would only build weakness. When Ryoji demanded another round, Ken looked exhausted. Hearing another insult about dungeons, Ryoji questioned his understanding sternly. Ryoji finally responded to Ken's arrogance. He questioned why someone with limited experience acted superior toward other adventurers. Recalling his past, Ryoji described years of relentless dungeon battles. Compared with that journey, Ken's experience seemed insignificant. Ryoji explained that he still entered dungeons daily. His efforts focused on protecting beginners and preventing unnecessary deaths. The pressure behind Ryoji's words overwhelmed Ken completely. Even so, Ryoji remained willing to tolerate insults directed at himself. When the discussion shifted toward mocking anime, Ryoji froze. The girl noticed his reaction and worried his anger was growing. Seeing Ryoji's anger rise, the girl stepped forward and hugged him. Her intervention stopped the confrontation before it worsened. She praised both students and urged them to end the dispute. Ryoji calmed down, though he remained concerned. As the pressure disappeared, Ken's exhausted mind drifted elsewhere. Ryoji worried that he might have gone too far. Within the strange vision, Ken imagined meeting his beloved grandmother. The comforting scene eased his fear and tension. Returning to reality, Ken began laughing while muttering about his grandmother. Both Ryoji and the girl stared in confusion. The effects finally faded from Ken's body. Though shaken and pale, he realized the situation had been far worse. Concerned about Ken's condition, Ryoji asked him to remain seated. He decided to treat the lingering damage himself, using healing magic. Ryoji restored Ken's condition completely. The immediate recovery left Ken staring in disbelief and confusion. As the healing finished, Ken reevaluated everything he had witnessed. Ryoji's abilities exceeded anything he previously understood. Ken apologized sincerely for his behavior and admitted his mistakes. Ryoji accepted the apology while acknowledging his own faults. After witnessing everything, the special class students welcomed Ryoji warmly. Having proven himself, he finally earned their respect. Earlier inside Ueno Park Dungeon, a beginner party finished training successfully, reaching level 4. They decided to stop hunting. After leaving the dungeon, the group gathered for a meal. Their discussion soon focused on future training plans. Zone member hoped to remain longer on the first floor. She had become comfortable defeating slimes with ease. Another member reminded everyone about the common rule. Most adventurers advance to the second floor after reaching level 4. Although reluctant at first, the girl accepted the explanation. The group agreed stronger adventurers should leave opportunities for beginners. While discussing tomorrow's expedition, the party agreed everyone should study dungeon videos beforehand and prepare carefully for second-floor dangers. Their conversation paused as food arrived. The blonde adventurer enjoyed her meal, feeling satisfied after a long training session. The group praised DTJC's detailed dungeon guides. His videos provided reliable maps, explanations, and walkthroughs for adventurers nationwide. The blonde adventurer recalled dangerous fake guides from earlier years. Many people suffered because of misinformation before DTJC appeared. Remembering past tragedies, the group appreciated surviving their own adventures. They shared dinner together and valued their friendship deeply. Curious about the famous DTJC, the blonde adventurer asked about his identity. Unfortunately, nobody knew who he really was. The discussion quickly became ridiculous when someone suggested DTJC might be an alien. The absurd theory shocked everyone present. Despite laughing, the group considered unusual possibilities. DTJC possessed overwhelming knowledge about dungeons that seemed impossible for ordinary people. The blonde adventurer jokingly supported the strange theory. She claimed Planet Dungeon sounded surprisingly believable compared with other explanations. Soon, the group expanded the joke even further. They imagined DTJC disguising himself as a normal student on Earth. The blonde adventurer developed a new theory about DTJC based on his appearance. She believed he was still young. Her companions explained another popular rumor surrounding DTJC. Many people suspected he attended Adventurer High School's special class. They described the special class as a gathering place. The world's strongest student adventurers studied and trained there together. Impressed by his knowledge, the blonde adventurer questioned the president. She wondered whether he secretly loved adventurer culture. Trying to narrow the possibilities, she continued investigating DTJC's identity. The president instead worried about asking her age. Following their theory, the group concluded DTJC might belong to Adventurer High School's special class, home to Japan's elite students. Checking public rankings, they searched for candidates matching DTJC's reputation. The discussion soon pointed toward Ken Takeshi instead. At Adventurer High School, Ken sneezed unexpectedly during class. Ryoji immediately joked that killing intent caused the illness. Ken admitted he enjoyed teasing Ryoji because of his personality. Then he encouraged Ryoji to address him casually. Hearing Ken use his first name shocked Ryoji completely. The unexpected familiarity reminded him of scenes from anime. Ryoji remembered that many people still preferred using family names. To him, casual first-name friendships felt strangely unfamiliar. After some hesitation, Ryoji accepted Ken's request. Calling him Takeshi marked a small step toward genuine friendship. The class noticed their growing friendship immediately. Hanfa and the others teased Ryoji, leaving him embarrassed and flustered. Encouraged by the atmosphere, Hanfa requested similar treatment herself. The playful exchange caused even more teasing from classmates. Before the excitement faded, Takeshi invited Ryoji on a dungeon expedition. Their relationship had improved greatly since meeting. After thinking carefully, Ryoji considered refusing Takeshi's invitation. Their strength gap was enormous, and filming videos already consumed much time. Not wanting to appear distant, Ryoji accepted anyway. Takeshi seemed surprised, but happily agreed to the future expedition. Meanwhile, the adventurer group continued discussing DTJC's identity. Their deductions once again pointed toward Ken Takeshi as the answer. Comparing public rankings with their observations, they found contradictions. The famous 7th-ranked adventurer did not completely match DTJC. Then one member remembered a masked boy from earlier events. He became the group's strongest candidate for DTJC's true identity. Reviewing old memories, the group recalled a masked boy's actions. He defeated monsters easily and healed injured adventurers. The mysterious figure also possessed knowledge beyond normal standards. Those achievements matched DTJC's reputation almost perfectly in their minds. Comparing DTJC with famous rankings created another contradiction. Despite his abilities, Isabella still officially occupied the top position. Unable to explain the discrepancy, the group proposed new theories. Perhaps DTJC somehow avoided the ranking system entirely. When attention returned to Ken Takeshi, doubts remained. His behavior seemed too ordinary to match their image of DTJC. The group rejected Ken as their main suspect. His personality felt far different from the image they had created. Still searching for answers, the blonde adventurer considered other possibilities. She wondered whether another student fit the clues better. One member revealed an unusual rumor circulating online. Some people believed DTJC might actually be a woman. The theory sounded strange at first, yet supporting evidence existed. DTJC's behavior appeared gentle, nervous, and unexpectedly adorable. Following that logic, the group identified a new candidate. Their attention shifted toward Isabella, the world's highest-ranked adventurer. The blonde adventurer passionately defended Isabella's candidacy. Admiring her greatly, she believed DTJC and Isabella shared many similarities. Her companions expanded the theory with additional arguments. Isabella's noble background matched DTJC's helpful videos and public service. Although doubts remained, the blonde adventurer stayed enthusiastic. She admitted becoming extremely happy if Isabella proved to be DTJC. Then she noticed a major flaw in her reasoning. Isabella's appearance seemed impossible to conceal beneath ordinary disguises alone. As they crossed the street, the discussion continued. Despite other theories, the blonde adventurer still favored Isabella as DTJC. Back at home, Ryoji reflected on being called by his first name. He found it unusual and amusing because most people addressed him by his surname. The robot reminded him that Princess Kyoko had already called him by his first name before. Ryoji realized he had completely forgotten about that. The robot teased him about forgetting. Ryoji awkwardly acknowledged the point and scratched his head in embarrassment. Elsewhere, Isabella appeared worried about her health. Wondering whether she had a cold or allergies, she touched her face while looking concerned. At night, Ryoji received a line message from Hanfa. While checking his phone, the household robot noticed something unusual. The robot became shocked after realizing Ryoji was chatting with a girl. It quickly focused on the unexpected situation. Ryoji explained that Hanfa was not that kind of person. He recalled how she once prevented a serious accident. After hearing the explanation, the robot understood Hanfa knew Ryoji's true identity. It then asked to meet her someday. Soon afterward, Hanfa informed Ryoji about an important matter. He prepared to leave immediately and headed to meet her. Ryoji arrived at the family restaurant and met Hanfa in person. She greeted him warmly and mentioned an important matter. Ryoji worried about Hanfa being outside late at night. Hanfa reassured him, revealing her extraordinary strength and confidence. After settling down, Hanfa finally explained the reason for the meeting. She asked about Ayano, Isabella, and DTJC. Ryoji listened carefully and immediately understood the topic. The unexpected question made him wonder where the discussion would lead. Ryoji admitted he had not told Ayano and Isabella anything yet. Hanfa paused thoughtfully as the situation became clearer. Hanfa revealed the reason for the meeting. Earlier that day, an important achievement had been made inside Ueno Park Dungeon. Ayano, Isabella, and Hanfa successfully defeated the Queen Killer Ant. Their accomplishment immediately set a new world record. However, Hanfa explained that the record excluded DTJC. The group found the situation unusual and difficult to understand. The discussion shifted toward Ryoji. Isabella mentioned hearing that Hanfa often walked to school together with him. While Hanfa tried to explain their connection, Isabella recalled sensing overwhelming power from Ryoji and suspected he was DTJC. Isabella listened with interest while Hanfa tried changing the subject. The atmosphere became lighter for only a moment. Soon, Ayano revealed information linking DTJC to a major bank account. Hanfa was startled by the unexpected detail. Ayano explained that enormous amounts of money moved through the account every month. Hanfa realized the secret was spreading. After comparing the evidence, Ayano concluded that Ryoji matched DTJC perfectly. His surname, appearance, and abilities all aligned. Hanfa finished recounting the incident at the restaurant. Ryoji listened quietly before learning why she felt apologetic. Hanfa admitted that Ayano and Isabella had noticed everything. She believed she was just as poor at hiding secrets. Ryoji was surprised by her observation. Hanfa pointed out that his thoughts and feelings were often visible on his face. Her words reminded Ryoji of his past. He recalled hearing the same criticism during his time in another world. One memory stood out clearly. During an imperial banquet, nobles noticed his displeasure and openly scolded him for it. Even though Ryoji tried to behave properly, others still read his emotions. The old memory remained vivid in his mind. Ryoji remembered Daenerys from his journey in another world. She often handled difficult matters and encouraged him to focus. Daenerys once told Ryoji that being with him brought her comfort. Her sincere words remained unforgettable, even now. Hanfa expressed similar feelings during their meeting. Hearing those words again left Ryoji quietly surprised and thoughtful. As he reflected on Hanfa's sincerity, Ryoji trusted his intuition. He felt she was someone he could rely on. Ryoji decided to trust Hanfa's judgment. He accepted that Ayano and Isabella could learn the truth when the time came. Hanfa thanked Ryoji for trusting her. Although she felt undeserving of that confidence, his decision made her genuinely happy. Ryoji calmly told Hanfa to think carefully before deciding anything. Meanwhile, Hanfa reflected on the trust DTJC placed in her. After returning home, Ryoji was welcomed by Lime. The robot teasingly called the meeting a date, embarrassing him. The next day, Hanfa met Ayano and Isabella again inside Ueno Park Dungeon. She revealed that Ryoji Furuya was DTJC. Ayano was surprised by Hanfa's announcement. Hanfa explained that Ryoji had given permission, confirming their strong mutual trust. Hanfa felt relieved after finally sharing Ryoji's secret. Ayano and Isabella listened quietly as the burden left her. After a brief silence, Isabella stepped forward. She announced that she had something important to discuss with them. Isabella revealed her feelings toward DTJC. Her admiration began when he saved everyone during the baby dragon incident. Learning that Hanfa had grown close to Ryoji changed everything. Isabella could no longer keep her emotions hidden inside. Gathering her courage, Isabella made a sincere declaration. She wished to become closer to Ryoji and know him better. After hearing Isabella's feelings, Ayano gathered her courage. She revealed that she wanted to become closer to Ryoji too. Ayano went even further and declared her desire to become Ryoji's girlfriend. The sudden announcement shocked everyone present. Rather than arguing, the three girls reached an agreement. They promised to compete fairly and respect the outcome. Meanwhile, on the 1000th floor of Ueno Park Dungeon, DTJC repeatedly sneezed. Confused, he searched for the strange cause. At Adventurer High School, Ayano and Isabella arrived at the special class. Both remained unusually serious after recent events. Hanfa noticed the tense atmosphere between them. To distract everyone, she checked whether Ryoji would be coming to school. The moment Hanfa received confirmation, Isabella reacted immediately. Everyone turned toward the classroom entrance, expecting Ryoji to appear. Instead of Ryoji, Takeshi Ken entered the room. Hanfa greeted him cheerfully, while Ayano and Isabella looked disappointed. Takeshi quickly gathered the students' attention. He announced important business, explaining that the world's top party members were present. Hanfa volunteered to speak on behalf of the group. Takeshi listened carefully before deciding how to answer. To ensure privacy, Takeshi activated a special skill. The mysterious barrier sealed their conversation from outside listeners. Hanfa quickly understood the purpose of the ability. The skill was designed specifically for confidential discussions and sensitive matters. Once the barrier was active, Takeshi spoke openly. He revealed that he believed Ryoji Furuya and DTJC were the same person. Takeshi then explained his real concern. He felt Ryoji was becoming too strong alone and needed trustworthy adventurer companions. Takeshi explained that admiration alone was not enough. He believed Ryoji needed true companions who understood the adventurer's life. He pointed out that Ryoji had been fighting alone for years. Despite his strength, someone his age could not avoid loneliness forever. Hanfa began seeing Ryoji differently. After hearing that perspective, what once looked like confidence now seemed slightly lonely. Meanwhile, Ryoji walked to school in a cheerful mood, completely unaware. He remained relaxed, while others worried about him. Takeshi warned that Ryoji's kindness motivated all his actions. Without meaningful connections, losing faith in humanity could change everything. Takeshi revealed his greatest concern about Ryoji. With overwhelming power, the worst outcome could be Ryoji becoming a new demon king. The possibility shocked Hanfa. However, Takeshi reminded everyone that impossible events had already become reality in recent years, despite her surprise. Hanfa firmly trusted Ryoji. Still, she promised to help ensure he never faced the world alone. Determined to protect him, Hanfa made a heartfelt vow. No matter what happened, she would stay by Ryoji's side. Satisfied with her resolve, Takeshi ended the private discussion. He felt relieved after entrusting those feelings to Hanfa Ayano, and Isabella immediately thought Ryoji had arrived. Their excitement quickly faded when they realized someone else had entered. Trying to stay fair, Ayano reminded herself not to seek special treatment. She decided any meeting with Ryoji should happen naturally. Meanwhile, Isabella enthusiastically praised Ayano's reliability. She even jokingly referred to her as a master and role model. Ayano responded by accepting Isabella as a disciple. Their sudden exchange left the others completely confused. Hanfa explained the situation with a smile. Seeing Ayano and Isabella so excited about meeting Ryoji made everything understandable. Ayano and Isabella prepared themselves for Ryoji's arrival. Their nervous excitement became so obvious that Hanfa felt intimidated. Meanwhile, Ryoji met a former classmate on his way. After a brief conversation, they agreed to meet again later. When Ryoji finally entered the special classroom, Ayano and Isabella immediately focused on him. The atmosphere changed instantly. Isabella seized the opportunity before anyone else could react. Determined not to lose, she stepped forward and greeted Ryoji. Gathering her courage, Isabella invited Ryoji to share a meal with her party someday. The unexpected invitation caught him off guard. Ryoji politely declined Isabella's invitation. Since he was busy this semester, he could not accept her offer. His answer stunned everyone in the classroom. Even Takeshi could hardly believe Ryoji had rejected Isabella so casually. Ayano immediately realized Isabella's original plan had failed. She wondered whether this unexpected outcome could create a new opportunity. Without losing composure, Isabella quickly changed her approach. Instead of a meal, she requested guidance for her party's dungeon exploration. Watching the exchange, Ayano recognized Isabella's clever adjustment. She admired how quickly Isabella adapted her strategy to suit Ryoji. Ryoji praised Isabella's determination as an adventurer. However, he explained that providing personal guidance would be difficult for him. Instead, Ryoji recommended studying DTJC's videos carefully. He encouraged Isabella to keep improving through her own efforts. Isabella was stunned by the response. Before she could recover, Takeshi interrupted and asked to speak with Ryoji privately. Taking the opportunity, Takeshi activated his divine domain skill once again. The two stepped into a private conversation. As Ryoji's friend, Takeshi spoke honestly. He warned that rejecting Isabella so directly could make it seem like she had been rejected personally. After speaking with Takeshi, Ryoji realized his mistake. He decided to explain his reasoning to Isabella more carefully. Isabella agreed to listen. Ryoji apologized for his wording and began clarifying why he could not accept her request. Ryoji revealed that similar situations had happened before. His previous attempts at teaching adventurers had ended badly. He also explained the issue of payment. Training for free created problems, but charging people often caused different misunderstandings. Because of those experiences, Ryoji preferred not to take such jobs. He hoped Isabella would understand his position. After hearing Ryoji's explanation, Isabella thanked him sincerely. She then asked whether he would listen to her story. Isabella explained that her party admired a distant adventurer. To reach that level, they needed Ryoji's guidance. Rather than asking for free help, Isabella proposed proper compensation. She wanted to know what payment would satisfy him. Watching the discussion, Ayano quickly understood Isabella's strategy by offering money. She hoped Ryoji would find it harder to refuse. Ryoji became confused by the unexpected direction of the conversation. His original plan to discourage the request was no longer working. Confident in his plan, Ryoji demanded 1 billion yen per person. He expected the girls to reject the offer immediately. To Ryoji's shock, Isabella, Ayano, and Hanfa accepted without hesitation. The enormous amount meant nothing to them. That evening, Ryoji informed Lime that he would begin teaching the girls personally. The unexpected outcome left him bewildered. Lime explained the situation calmly. With Ayano, Isabella, and Hanfa all coming from wealthy families, money was never an obstacle. As rain fell outside, Ryoji complained about becoming a dungeon guide. Lime advised him that he could still refuse if he truly disliked the idea. Soon, Ryoji received a polite message from Isabella Clinage. She thanked him and expressed excitement about learning from him. Another message arrived from Ayano Sanzanin. Her elegant greeting impressed Ryoji, while Lime noted how fluent and natural her Japanese sounded. Ayano commented that the moon looked beautiful that night. Confused, Ryoji replied about the rainy weather, missing her intended meaning. Lime laughed at the misunderstanding before Ryoji could recover. Another message arrived, this time from Hanfa. Hanfa sent an enthusiastic message to Ryoji. She looked forward to exploring dungeons together and learning his special combat techniques. Ryoji was confused by her request and unfamiliar terms. After thinking, he decided he would go through with the training. His decision reminded him of the past. He recalled how Daenerys had taught him when he was still weak back in the other world. Daenerys stayed by Ryoji's side. She guided him through many hardships and helped him survive. Remembering those days, Ryoji understood why teaching mattered. Even if Daenerys acted out of concern, her support had changed his life. Ryoji remembered Daenerys with gratitude. He believed he never could have defeated the Demon King without her guidance and support. Thinking about the past changed his perspective. Ryoji decided it was now his turn to pass those lessons on. Lime agreed with his decision. Hanfa and the others worked hard, and Daenerys would approve of helping them. On the day of the training session, Hanfa, Iano, and Isabella gathered on the 44th floor of Ueno Park Dungeon. Ryoji appeared before the group. The girls were surprised by his arrival, especially because teleportation should not have been possible inside the dungeon. After arriving, Ryoji scanned the area using his detection skill. He confirmed that no other adventurers were nearby. The girls assured him there was nothing to worry about. Only elite adventurers could reach the floor, making interruptions unlikely. Satisfied with the situation, Ryoji gathered everyone together. He announced that they would move to the next floor. Before leaving, Ryoji showed them a mysterious crystal-like item. The girls admired its appearance and asked about it. Ryoji explained that it was the dungeon core from Ueno Park Dungeon. By defeating a dungeon boss, adventurers could obtain one and travel between floors. Ryoji asked the girls to keep questions to a minimum. He wanted to focus on training instead of spending the entire day explaining things. The three agreed. Once everyone was ready, Ryoji announced that they would move to the training location. Using the dungeon core, Ryoji transported the group to another floor. The girls were stunned when they arrived at the 500th floor. The environment felt completely different from before. The bright atmosphere and unusual air left the girls overwhelmed and confused. Ignoring their shock, Ryoji outlined the schedule. They would level up during the morning and practice tactical combat in the afternoon. Ryoji introduced the monster living on the 500th floor called the Dark Ball. It was harmless and perfect for gaining experience. While explaining, Ryoji asked Isabella to fight first. Isabella then requested that he call her by her first name. Caught off guard, Ryoji awkwardly agreed. He wondered why everyone wanted a more personal way of addressing each other. The situation became even more confusing when Ayano made the same request. Ryoji reluctantly accepted, leaving both girls satisfied. Treeing to return to training, Ryoji presented a rare mithril sword. Isabella was shocked to see such a legendary item in person. Ryoji cast a powerful enhancement spell on Isabella. Her physical attack strength increased dramatically, shocking everyone watching. Ayano wanted to question the unbelievable effect immediately. However, she held back and focused on observing the training. With the buff active, Isabella charged at the Dark Ball. She attacked confidently, determined to impress Ryoji with her strength. The result surprised everyone. Isabella lost control of her strike and damaged her borrowed mithril sword instead of defeating the monster. Although she escaped injury, Isabella felt guilty. She repeatedly apologized for damaging the valuable weapon she had borrowed for the training session. Ryoji reassured Isabella after the broken sword incident. He handed her another weapon and praised her skill despite the accident. The new weapon was an orichalcum sword. Isabella was amazed to receive such a legendary item for training. To guarantee success, Ryoji stacked several more enhancement spells. The buffs greatly increased Isabella's physical strength once again. This time, Isabella struck the Dark Ball cleanly. Her attack split the monster apart, earning praise from both Ryoji and the others. After the victory, bright lights surrounded Isabella. She gained multiple levels at once, and celebrated her rapid growth with excitement. Ryoji trained Isabella and Hanfa on the dungeon's 500th floor. After receiving powerful buffs, Isabella rapidly advanced from level 44 to 72. Wanting Hanfa to improve as well, Ryoji provided an orichalcum knuckle and stacked multiple buffs to greatly increase her strength. Using steel style and magic fist techniques, Hanfa smashed the Dark Ball repeatedly while Ryoji carefully observed her progress. As training continued, Hanfa gained levels at an incredible pace. Ryoji instructed both girls to keep attacking continuously. Ryoji then noticed Ayano's weakness. Since magic was ineffective against dark balls, he prepared a different training method. During a lesson about dungeon creatures, Ryoji learned that the Dark Ball from the 500th floor rarely attacked adventurers without cause. A few hours earlier at Adventurer High School, Ryoji noticed two classmates discussing their recent encounter with Sanzanin after classes. One student explained that exploration activities often replaced normal attendance, causing adventurers to spend long periods away from school. As they continued talking, the excited student emphasized how remarkable Sanzanin seemed, drawing attention from nearby students passing. The discussion shifted toward Sanzanin's reputation as the world's second-ranked adventurer, respected for strength, talent, elegance, and discipline. The student continued praising Sanzanin, describing her beauty with excitement, while his friend listened with a tired and unimpressed expression. He mentioned that Sanzanin's popularity extended worldwide, attracting over 100 million followers online and earning attention from countless fans. After discussing her fame, the student explained that her character impressed him most, believing her true qualities mattered beyond appearances. He recalled hearing from special class students that Ayano Sanzanin never lost composure, regardless of danger, pressure, or uncertainty. During a brutal dungeon incident, Sanzanin stayed calm against unfamiliar monsters, protected teammates with magic, and earned deep respect. On the 500th floor of Ueno Park Dungeon, Ayano Sanzanin listened as Ryoji explained an important weakness of dark balls. Ayano reacted with surprise when Ryoji revealed that ordinary magic attacks could not damage dark balls, despite her expertise. While Ayano considered the situation carefully, Ryoji remained calm and assured her that he already had a solution. Ryoji presented an orichalcum staff, explaining that magic itself was not ineffective, and that the proper tool mattered. He explained that the staff converted magical energy into physical force, allowing magic-based adventurers to defeat dark balls successfully. Following Ryoji's instructions, Ayano attempted channeling magic through the orichalcum staff, though controlling the unfamiliar technique proved difficult. To Ryoji's surprise, Ayano adapted quickly and reported that the method worked, demonstrating talent far beyond expectations. After observing her progress, Ryoji instructed Ayano to strike a dark ball directly, admitting the training once challenged him. Ayano focused carefully on the monster's central core, steadied her grip on the staff, and prepared her attack. Her strike pierced the dark ball successfully, defeating the monster and filling Ayano with excitement as Ryoji praised her. Watching Ayano celebrate her success, Ryoji realized she seemed far more expressive and enthusiastic than he had expected. As Ayano continued defeating monsters, her level increased rapidly, revealing excitement and determination beneath her usual composed reputation. Using a prototype device, Ryoji checked Ayano's status and discovered that her magic reserves had been completely depleted. To continue the training efficiently, Ryoji opened his item box and prepared a large supply of mana potions. Ayano stared at the collection in disbelief, knowing mana potions were valuable treasures that adventurers rarely possessed in quantity. Ayano gratefully accepted Ryoji's offer, while he explained that mana potions dropped frequently on deeper floors and remained easy to obtain. Watching monsters gather across the floor, Ryoji decided the real challenge would begin. Once Ayano finished her leveling session. While waiting alone, Ryoji nearly fell asleep from boredom, having little to do as Ayano continued hunting monsters. Expecting this situation beforehand, Ryoji opened his item box and prepared several comforts to pass the time. Seated comfortably with books from storage, Ryoji planned to catch up on reading while Ayano trained nearby. After hours of training, Ayano's companions arrived and informed her that several support buffs had finally worn off. An hour later, the group gathered for tea while Ryoji checked their progress and confirmed everyone exceeded level 200. Ryoji explained that rapid leveling placed strain on the body, making rest important for avoiding injuries and accidents. Using simple examples, he compared leveling to a game, showing how statistics increased faster than physical adaptation. He added that mismatches between displayed status values and actual condition affected both health and magical energy management. After reviewing their progress, Ryoji proposed spending the afternoon practicing movement techniques and mastering newly acquired combat skills. One teammate suggested continuing the leveling session instead, causing Ryoji to realize the discussion might become difficult. She explained that defeating dark balls required Ryoji's assistance, while ordinary movement and skill practice could be handled independently. Ayano supported the suggestion, believing additional high-level adventurers would reduce Ryoji's workload and strengthen the group's future. Both girls expressed their desire to become reliable supporters, leaving Ryoji surprised by their sincere determination and concern. After collecting himself, Ryoji praised their dedication but reminded them that meeting client expectations remained an important responsibility. He explained that constant dark ball farming flooded their minds with rewards, creating an addictive cycle driven by dopamine. Ryoji concluded that the rapidly respawning dark balls influenced their behavior, causing discomfort whenever they stopped hunting them. Ryoji warned that dark balls influenced adventurers mentally, creating an urge to continue hunting them without stopping or resting. After hearing the explanation, the girls admitted that leveling and hunting dark balls felt exciting and strangely satisfying. Ryoji responded seriously, explaining that continuing to endure the dark ball's influence would eventually bring devastating consequences. He clarified that the danger was not physical death, but the gradual destruction of an adventurer's spirit and purpose. One companion reminded the group that adventurers pursued many different goals, and none had begun their journeys for dark balls alone. Ryoji reminded the group that adventurers pursued different dreams, and very few considered dark ball hunting their ultimate goal. He warned that many skilled adventurers became addicted to dark balls, remaining trapped on the 500th floor for years. According to Ryoji, the 500th floor earned the title trial floor because it tested an adventurer's determination relentlessly. He explained that only adventurers possessing exceptional mental strength could overcome temptation and continue progressing beyond the floor. The girls reflected on Ryoji's words, realizing the challenge involved willpower rather than combat ability, leaving them thoughtful. Inspired by Ryoji's explanation, the girls declared their intention to face the trial and strengthen their determination further. Ayano promised to overcome the challenge and make Ryoji proud, while he quietly prepared something from his item box. To everyone's surprise, Ryoji revealed several identical helmets, immediately capturing the attention of the curious adventurers. The girls recognized the helmets and reacted with excitement, while Ryoji explained he had spent the entire night crafting them. Ryoji presented the helmets as gifts, explaining that they reduced damage from dark ball attacks and would serve as keepsakes. The girls happily accepted Ryoji's gift and immediately asked for permission to wear the helmets he had prepared. After receiving approval, one girl eagerly equipped her helmet and requested a magic mirror to examine her appearance. Seeing their reflections, Ayano and her companion posed dramatically, enjoying the unusual outfits and treating them like hero costumes. Ryoji noticed Isabella hesitating and asked whether she intended to wear the protective helmet like the others. Embarrassed, Isabella admitted that childhood fears made face coverings uncomfortable, leaving her unsure how to handle the situation. Ryoji suggested changing the helmet's color, and Isabella happily revealed that blue had always been her favorite color. After putting on the helmet, Isabella gained confidence and proudly introduced herself as the newest member of the Blue Squad. With the discussion finished, Ryoji prepared support buffs while the girls eagerly resumed hunting dark balls together. Their original schedule changed completely, and the group spent the entire afternoon focusing on leveling and gaining experience. While observing their progress, Ryoji felt relieved that nobody questioned the unusual equipment and items he provided. While reading quietly, Ryoji wondered whether Hanfa and the others simply overlooked details that seemed obvious to him. 2 hours earlier, Hanfa gathered Ayano and Isabella at the meeting point to discuss Ryoji's unusual strength. Isabella estimated that Ryoji's level exceeded 500, far beyond the achievements of the world's top adventurers. Ayano found the idea difficult to believe, considering the short time since dungeons appeared and adventurers began leveling. Hanfa agreed, arguing that reaching such heights seemed impossible unless Ryoji had explored dungeons continuously for many years. While discussing Ryoji's past, the girls learned from a former classmate that he had seemed completely ordinary before. Hanfa suggested asking Ryoji directly, but Isabella wondered whether investigating his personal history would be appropriate. Ayano and Hanfa admitted their curiosity, yet both agreed they would wait until Ryoji chose to explain himself. The conversation ended with the girls deciding to become trustworthy adventurers worthy of earning Ryoji's confidence and respect. Back in the present, Ryoji remained unaware of their discussion, enjoying his book while waiting on the floor. Several hours later, the training concluded successfully, and every participant had reached approximately level 400 through constant battles. Ayano, Hanfa, and Isabella thanked Ryoji sincerely, celebrating their enormous growth after gaining hundreds of levels in one day. After leaving the dungeon, Ryoji explained that ranking updates reflected exit levels, though his own ranking remained unusually low. Exhausted from the long session, Ryoji returned home, ignored future concerns, and focused entirely on getting proper rest. Meanwhile in America, another adventurer team defeated a powerful floor boss, setting a new world record without knowing Ryoji's achievements. Their leader, Linda Bluestone, proudly reached level 45, and believed she had finally become the world's top-ranked adventurer. The following morning, Ryoji greeted his household robot normally, unaware that major changes had occurred during the night. When the robot mentioned a serious problem, Ryoji casually assumed another neighborhood animal had caused trouble outside his home. His guesses became increasingly ridiculous, leaving him confused about what issue could possibly be more important. The robot finally revealed that updated adventurer rankings had thrown the entire community into chaos and widespread excitement. Ryoji remained calm after hearing the news, believing Hanfa and the others gaining 400 levels explained the reaction. When the rankings updated worldwide, Hanfa reached first place, Isabella claimed second, Ayano ranked third, and Linda fell. The robot explained that ranking changes had sparked enormous attention, spreading across news outlets and online discussion boards. Ryoji quickly realized people suspected someone had artificially boosted levels, making the situation far more serious than expected. Concerned by the robot's warning, Ryoji asked what kind of reactions and accusations were appearing across the internet. Many comments questioned whether the leveling process had been fair, while others accused Ryoji of controlling adventurers behind scenes. Ryoji dismissed the accusations casually, assuming people were exaggerating and using dramatic labels without understanding the actual situation. The robot explained that criticism had spread widely, forcing Ayano to disable comments while Hanfa faced constant complaints online. Ryoji felt troubled because the girls had done nothing wrong and simply followed the training he provided. The robot argued that jealousy fueled much of the backlash, since ordinary adventurers struggled while Hanfa's group advanced astonishingly fast. After considering the situation, Ryoji accepted the explanation and decided there was little reason to worry excessively. While relaxing at home, Ryoji received an unexpected phone call from Takeshi, who sounded unusually serious and concerned. Takeshi informed Ryoji that reporters and streamers had gathered outside Adventurer High School, following the ranking upheaval. The crowd targeted Isabella, Ayano, and Hanfa, hoping to uncover details behind their extraordinary rise in levels. To prevent unnecessary trouble, Takeshi instructed classmates to stay silent, confident that nobody would reveal important information. After thanking his friend, Ryoji reflected on their friendship and appreciated Takeshi's willingness to help without hesitation. After speaking with Takeshi, Ryoji accepted that the ranking controversy had become unavoidable and was already disrupting normal school activities. Soon afterward, Chairman Tanaka contacted Ryoji directly and requested an urgent meeting regarding the growing public attention surrounding adventurers. Ryoji arrived at the chairman's office, where Chairman Iwaki and Principal Tanaka waited to discuss recent developments together. To Ryoji's surprise, Ayano, Hanfa, and Isabella had also been summoned, gathering together before the important discussion began. Chairman Iwaki welcomed everyone warmly, noting that the world's 4 strongest adventurers were now assembled inside one room. Inside the chairman's office, Ryoji and the girls discussed their rankings while school officials reviewed the growing situation carefully. Chairman Iwaki became excited, discussing powerful monsters and leveling methods, forcing Principal Tanaka to redirect the conversation again. Iwaki explained that Prime Minister Takahashi wanted information about power leveling, making the issue impossible to ignore any longer. Ryoji realized the matter extended beyond adventurer rankings because it connected directly to Japan's national energy concerns. Before arranging a meeting with the Prime Minister, Iwaki asked whether Ryoji planned turning power leveling into business. Ryoji rejected the business proposal immediately, explaining that Hanfa and the others represented exceptional circumstances rather than a repeatable model. Ayano, Isabella, and Hanfa reacted to his words, each showing affection and trust toward Ryoji during discussion. When Chairman Iwaki confirmed his decision, Ryoji firmly stated that power leveling caused trouble and was not worthwhile. Accepting his answer, Iwaki asked the remaining participants to share their opinions regarding the controversial leveling arrangement. After discussing together beforehand, the girls agreed that respecting Ryoji's wishes mattered far more than gaining additional levels. Ayano explained that Ryoji's safety equipment helped countless adventurers worldwide, creating benefits far greater than power leveling only a few people. Chairman Iwaki listened carefully to Ayano's argument and agreed that her perspective captured the true significance of Ryoji's work. Iwaki thanked Ryoji sincerely, believing his inventions and contributions had helped humanity maintain stability despite increasing dungeon-related threats worldwide. The girls promised to support Ryoji whenever possible, while he quietly kept his personal motivations hidden from everyone present. As the meeting reached its conclusion, an urgent call from Kojima interrupted Ryoji, requiring his immediate attention elsewhere. After leaving the meeting, Ryoji returned Kojima's call and learned she wanted to discuss an urgent matter requiring immediate attention. Although surprised by the request, Ryoji agreed without hesitation and promised to rearrange his schedule for the meeting. Kojima appeared rushed and instructed Ryoji to wait at home, promising she would arrive and explain everything soon. When they met, Kojima revealed that a message had arrived from the President of the United States through official channels. She explained that the American president planned an unofficial visit to Japan and wanted a direct meeting with Ryoji. Kojima reassured Ryoji that protecting clients from financial risks and legal problems remained an important responsibility within her profession. While traveling together, Ryoji noticed Kojima seemed unusually cheerful, suggesting the upcoming meeting carried positive expectations for her. The pair arrived at the United States ambassador's residence, where Kojima promised to protect Ryoji during any negotiations. Inside the residence, President Bluestone personally welcomed Ryoji and Kojima, thanking them for attending the important meeting. After exchanging greetings, President Bluestone asked about interpretation services, but Kojima volunteered to handle communication for Ryoji herself. Kojima expected to translate during the meeting, but Ryoji revealed that adventurer growth improved intelligence and language abilities significantly. President Bluestone introduced Linda Bluestone, America's top-ranked adventurer, who immediately approached Ryoji and examined him with curiosity. After observing him carefully, Linda remarked that Ryoji seemed weaker than expected. Though far more attractive in person, Linda's unexpected comments caught Ryoji completely off guard, leaving him stunned as he tried understanding her attitude. Once introductions ended, President Bluestone redirected everyone's attention and prepared to discuss the true purpose behind their meeting. The president requested DTJC film dungeon raids across America and asked Ryoji to power level the nation's strongest team. A little earlier, Ryoji Furuya arrived with Kijima-sensei before the meeting. They used the extra time to review important matters. Kijima-sensei confirmed that Ryoji was responsible for the widely discussed power leveling. Ryoji calmly acknowledged the truth. After understanding the situation, Kijima-sensei explained that careful responses were necessary to avoid problems during negotiations with America. Ryoji listened attentively and once again recognized Kijima-sensei's reliability. Her planning gave him confidence before the meeting. Kijima-sensei revealed that the United States offered generous rewards and requested power leveling support and dungeon recording assistance. The discussion moved to payment. American officials offered enormous compensation for dungeon support and future power leveling requests. Hearing the proposed amount, Ryoji was caught off guard. Even Kijima-sensei's prediction had not prepared him completely. The officials remained calm while Linda appeared worried. Ryoji carefully considered the offer instead of answering immediately. Linda sensed Ryoji's discomfort and suspected the negotiations had become unfair. She tried to understand his position. The American representative reassured Ryoji that any reasonable amount would be accepted, leaving the final decision entirely to him. Ryoji was surprised when the Americans promised to pay any amount he requested. He glanced toward Kijima-sensei for guidance. After thinking briefly, Ryoji decided to explain his true motivation. His dungeon videos were never created for money. Ryoji accepted the opportunity to film an American dungeon, but declined additional payment, believing his streaming income was sufficient. His answer shocked the room. Linda and the American representative immediately objected, fearing the decision would create larger problems. Linda insisted that Ryoji underestimated his value. She believed his videos protected countless lives and deserved proper recognition. Ryoji admitted he was not skilled at handling major negotiations. Remembering past mistakes, he carefully considered every option. After looking toward Kojima-sensei, Ryoji decided not to rush. He requested one day to think before giving his answer. Kojima-sensei formally informed the president that they would review the proposal and return with a decision tomorrow. The president accepted the delay and expressed confidence in Ryoji. Meanwhile, Linda urged him to think carefully. After the meeting ended, Kojima-sensei drove Ryoji home. Feeling exhausted, he reflected on her dependable support throughout the day. After returning home, Ryoji faced teasing from Mechub. He immediately denied any misunderstanding about his time with Kojima-sensei. While resting on his bed, Ryoji continued thinking about the American proposal. He still could not reach a decision. Ryoji admitted that accepting the offer felt uncomfortable. He disliked making important choices while feeling pressured by others. Mechub reminded him that hesitation inside a dungeon could be dangerous. Ryoji understood the advice, but remained conflicted. When Ryoji worried about money, Mechub revealed its successful investment results. The news eased his concerns and gave him another perspective. After a long night of thinking, Ryoji finally reached a decision. He chose to reject power leveling payments completely. Before contacting anyone, Ryoji received a message from Chairman Iwaki. Mechub immediately began making strange assumptions again. The message revealed a proposed adventurer tax. Ryoji was shocked after learning how much money could be taken. According to Iwaki, the proposal was still under discussion. However, the situation appeared serious enough to demand attention. Ryoji silently considered the consequences. Mechub warned that excessive taxes would drive adventurers overseas and weaken the nation. After hearing about the proposed tax, Ryoji blamed himself. He wondered whether his actions had caused the problem. Ryoji believed his free dungeon videos made adventuring appear easy. He feared people misunderstood the dangers involved. Mechub disagreed and reminded him that many adventurers survived because of his guidance. The responsibility was not his alone. Before Ryoji could dwell on it further, a message arrived from Takeshi. Mechub quickly noticed his gloomy mood. The message revealed that Takeshi was bored and wanted company. The unexpected invitation distracted Ryoji from his worries. To clear his mind, Ryoji visited Takeshi. The friends spent time gaming together while Prototwai watched nearby. During their match, Takeshi refused to use easy tricks. He preferred winning fairly, even if it meant losing. Prototwai joined the conversation and proudly introduced itself. Its confidence amused everyone and lightened the atmosphere. After several games, Takeshi thanked Ryoji and Protoi. The relaxing evening helped him enjoy himself again. Before leaving, Takeshi shared important news. Their overseas school expedition had been moved forward, and dungeon training in the United Kingdom would begin soon. After parting ways with Takeshi, Ryoji reflected on their friendship. He appreciated that Takeshi had genuinely worried about him. Ryoji remained deep in thought. Takeshi's visit had lifted his mood, but his decision still carried serious consequences. The next day, Ryoji met the American representatives again. Before discussing anything else, he asked about future adventurer taxes. The president firmly denied any plans for special taxes. Instead, America encouraged adventurers by offering benefits and incentives. With his concerns resolved, Ryoji presented his conditions. He proposed filming dungeon walkthrough videos while discussing reasonable compensation. The American side quickly accepted the terms and promised full cooperation. The negotiation finally began moving smoothly. Linda looked delighted. As the discussion reached a positive conclusion, the atmosphere in the room became noticeably lighter. Just as everyone expected the meeting to end, Ryoji revealed that one important issue still remained unresolved. When Ryoji revealed another concern, Linda expected a serious problem. Instead, he admitted that power leveling a top adventurer would be difficult. The group listened carefully without interrupting. Encouraged by their reaction, Ryoji continued explaining his thoughts. Ryoji was surprised that Linda accepted his concern calmly. He had expected her to oppose him immediately. Using Isabella as an example, Ryoji explained that extreme power levels could become dangerous if placed under the wrong control. To clarify the scale, Ryoji described strength far beyond ordinary adventurers. Even powerful dungeon bosses would become insignificant before such power. Ryoji's comparison confused everyone. Linda, Kojima-sensei, and the president struggled to understand the scale he described. Ryoji explained that granting immense power to the wrong person could create a disaster beyond anyone's ability to control. Linda imagined such a threat and felt uneasy. The possibility of an unstoppable adventurer alarmed everyone in the room. Although Ryoji could personally stop someone like that, he admitted there was no guarantee he would arrive in time. After hearing the explanation, Linda and Kojima-sensei accepted his concern. They then asked Ryoji to continue with the remaining issues. Ryoji explained that several smaller concerns remained. However, he decided to focus only on the most important issues. Kojima-sensei then asked why Ryoji trusted Isabella and the other adventurers despite the risks he described earlier. Ryoji paused to organize his thoughts. He carefully considered how to explain the reason behind his judgment. Linda listened closely, determined not to miss anything. She knew the answer would reveal how Ryoji evaluated people. Ryoji recalled a dangerous incident when Isabella and her companions protected classmates during a monster attack. Their actions nearly cost them their lives. Ryoji recalled how Isabella and her companions ignored common dungeon rules. They risked themselves to protect others in danger. Although he scolded them for acting recklessly, Ryoji could not ignore the courage behind their decision. Later that night, Ryoji sincerely thanked them in his heart. Their kindness left a lasting impression on him. As Ryoji explained his reasoning, Linda was deeply moved. Kojima-sensei also gained a better understanding of his judgment. Kojima-sensei told Ryoji that his trust came from sharing the same compassion. She reminded him he carried too many burdens alone. Kojima-sensei assured Ryoji that she wanted to share his burdens, offering support after hearing the concerns he carried alone. The president respected Ryoji's kindness and sincerity, yet worried that people with selfish motives might exploit those qualities someday. Linda earnestly requested an opportunity to gain Ryoji's trust, determined to prove that her intentions and commitment were genuine. Although Ryoji rejected the idea of being manipulated, Linda's unwavering expression showed that her determination remained unchanged. After returning home, Ryoji admitted Linda's heartfelt request affected him deeply, while Prototwai teased him about yielding so easily. Ryoji explained that the upcoming American Dungeon project would help him evaluate Linda and her companions before considering future power leveling. Prototwai questioned the idea, believing Linda's group would create additional responsibilities and complications instead of providing meaningful assistance. Ryoji believed the walkthrough videos could encourage adventurers to relocate abroad, creating pressure against unfair taxation policies back home. The following day, Ryoji boarded a government aircraft bound for America. During the journey, he complained about traveling long distances. After arriving, Linda welcomed Ryoji and offered support. Her enthusiasm embarrassed him, though she believed such treatment was deserved. Linda insisted that Ryoji stop treating her so formally. Although embarrassed, she wanted him to interact with her more naturally. When Ryoji questioned why Linda remained behind, she explained that she stayed voluntarily to guide and assist him. Ryoji discovered that Linda had spoken Japanese throughout their conversation. She revealed that anime and manga taught her, impressed by her language skills. Ryoji praised Linda's effort. Their discussion soon shifted toward anime and entertainment. Aunt's anime recommendations became the topic. Linda overwhelmed Ryoji with endless suggestions, leaving him struggling to follow everything. Ryoji reflected on Linda's enthusiasm during the flight. Although unconvinced by her logic, he considered her increasingly trustworthy. After spending time discussing anime with Linda, the long journey passed quickly, and Ryoji arrived in America without boredom. The team traveled to California and reached Yosemite Dungeon. Following their preparations, Ryoji gathered everyone before filming began. Once recording started, Ryoji introduced the Yosemite Dungeon walkthrough and explained that the video would include information for gunners. Before entering the dungeon, Ryoji asked the gunner assistants to introduce themselves, preparing viewers for the upcoming exploration. Before entering the dungeon, Linda and the other assistants introduced themselves on camera while wearing matching outfits and helmets. Linda complained that the helmet felt uncomfortable and restrictive. Ryoji reminded her that protecting her identity remained important. After interrupting a successful recording take, Linda caused extra work for the team and forced everyone to restart. Ryoji offered to hide Linda's face during editing instead. Hearing that Isabella wore her helmet changed Linda's mind. Not wanting to lose against Isabella, Linda immediately put the helmet back on. The filming session then continued smoothly. Inside Yosemite Dungeon, Ryoji directed the filming team while support drones recorded footage. Linda's group followed his instructions carefully. The American top party demonstrated impressive combat ability against approaching monsters. Their coordinated attacks produced excellent footage for viewers. As the dungeon grew more dangerous, Ryoji continued recording alone. He believed the deeper floors remained too risky. After completing the walkthrough project, Ryoji prepared to announce his final decision regarding the long-discussed power leveling proposal. Ryoji declared that the group had earned his trust and accepted the request. However, he warned against betraying it. Despite accepting the request, Ryoji declared that he would bear full responsibility himself and offered everyone a final chance.